This is the Dan Patrick Show.
Dan Patrick Show here on Fox Sports Radio.
Okay. All
It's
right,
LaVar Arrington.
Yeah, there we go.
Jonas Knox in for Dan and the guys. Normally you can hear us alongside Brady Quinn. Weekday morning, 6 a.m. Eastern Time, 3 o'clock Pacific. We were actually in this time slot yesterday, rocking and rolling. And so we are doing it again here on this 3-hour extravaganza. We're going to take you all the way up until noon Eastern Time, 9 o'clock Pacific. You can listen on the iHeartRadio app. You can find us on hundreds of affiliates all across the country. You can also watch along on YouTube as well, too, at 2Pros FSR on YouTube. You can see all the shenanigans for yourself at 2Pros FSR on YouTube is where you can find us. And we just continue on and keep it rolling here. LaVar Arrington.
I mean, why not?
And it is
why
important.
you say my name like that?
It is
Don't
important.
be throwing my government out there like that, bro.
It is important to point out that the NBA playoffs are here, and DraftKings Sportsbook is an official sports betting partner of the NBA. And right now, use the promo code 2Pros to claim your special offer at DraftKings. Again, that's promo code 2Pros at DraftKings. The crown is yours. What up, Sticks?
Hi.
How we feeling here?
Good.
On this Tuesday morning.
Good.
A scintillating conversation before the show started.
I just don't want any of them confetti eggs. That's all. Mad love for Lorena.
Yeah.
I just don't want any confetti eggs, man. And for what it's worth, you know, I feel like dating is overrated too, by the way.
I'm with you, man.
You know, all y'all dudes out there sweating Lorena, trying to date Lorena and all this stuff, you know, I would say it's worthwhile to try. She's pretty fun. She's dope, like one of the homies. But, man, if you don't come correct, then you going to get caught wrong.
Yeah, that's the wood chipper right there.
I mean, you ever hear of the Black Widow spider?
So, for those that are not familiar, we had a conversation post-Easter because I was mentioning how my in-laws are Mexican, and so they have
Oh yeah.
See,
okay.
So they have this tradition.
You did that in the parking lot the other night. I was blown away.
Authentic. So they have this tradition
it was
where
like they knew you.
There are confetti-filled eggs that they throw at each other, and they crack them on each other, and they're a complete mess. But you basically take an egg, you cut the top of an egg off, you dry it out, you clean it, you do whatever you do, you fill it with confetti, and then you cover it with like a wax paper. And then you just light people up with it. I mean, you light them up.
Just seems strange to me.
It is.
It just seems like too much effort for like I'd rather do a water balloon.
I mean, tell me about it, man. Try having that happen, and they're explaining it to you, and you don't know what they're saying. Try that on for size. So I've been going through that for years now.
No habla. No habla.
And so there was a listener to our show, 2 Pros and a Cup of Joe.
Shouts out to you.
Who works at a Walmart.
But you're sweating Lorena.
He sent an entire box of confetti eggs here, and she's trying to give them out to people. And like everyone's no.
She's doing what she's supposed to do. Like she's trying to share the love, share the wealth like she always does for the show. And listen, I don't think you earned any brownie points with her. I don't think you've won, my guy. But thanks for putting us in a position to have to tell Lorena we don't want that S. You know, thank you.
It's just a mess. It's very nice gesture,
much, sir.
Very nice thought, very nice gesture. But
well, you didn't do it for us, so we know why you did it. You tried to use them little crappy ass eggs to try to get in. It ain't work.
Yeah,
we hating on you on national radio.
Yeah, that's all right.
Didn't work. And I don't want your eggs.
Now let me ask you. Let me ask you this.
All right.
Do you believe that CJ Stroud is a real egg or a confetti-filled egg?
He's a real egg right now.
All right. because the Houston
and they
Texans,
put a whole lot of confetti in that egg. How about that?
Now, they did pick up the fifth-year option on CJ Stroud. They also did the same for Will Anderson.
Of course they did.
Nick Caserio, their GM, spoke yesterday about the decision to pick up the fifth-year option on CJ Stroud and had this to say.
I don't really think it affects his future. I mean, he's our quarterback. We've said that from the beginning. D'Amico and I both said it. So, I mean, I think that was really more of a procedural thing. I mean, I don't want to say it was a no-brainer, but it was kind of a no-brainer. So, glad he's here. Again, it's more part of the process. I mean, so we're excited about his off season. I think he's had a good approach, had a good attitude here. I think he's put a lot of work in, from, I'd say, March and April. So, excited to have him around here in the spring, and I'm excited to keep moving forward.
Now, Nick Caserio, they also made the decision to pick up the fifth-year option on Will Anderson, which is a no-brainer because Will Anderson has been fantastic.
Oh, he's a beast.
And he's been getting better and better. And we've talked about it on our show that defense.
Sick. And the way they look.
Oh, my God.
You ever see the way they look when they come out of the – they make it a point to show the cutaway or the bumps and all that stuff showing – the Texans' defensive front when they're coming out of the locker room.
Menacing defense to deal with.
I tell my son, every time I see them play, I always screen capture. I record it and send it to my son, and I say, this is what you're supposed to work for
attitude,
and look like when you come walking out of the locker room.
And you watch the way that the playoffs went down, and you go, all right, so Will Anderson's going to be here long term, and it makes sense. He's gotten better and better and better every single year. And it's the complete opposite for CJ Stroud, it feels like. He had that rookie year to where everyone looked at that, and it was all of a sudden, man, the Texans landed on one, getting the number 2 pick. Bryce Young, look what's happening there.
Yeah.
And since then, it's just been, I would argue, he's regressed from his rookie season to the point to where now, following the playoffs, people are looking around going, I don't know, man. He seemed like he was the next guy that was going to get the monster contract at quarterback in the NFL. And now I think there's a lot of people with serious doubts about whether or not he's the guy based on what we saw in the biggest games last year.
Well, it's hard to not come to that conclusion when the last game you seen him play was the biggest game of the year and he threw 4 picks in a loss. The interesting thing about it is 25.9 guaranteed to him. The endorsement of your GM and Caserio, all the stars align for CJ Stroud to come into this season and play himself into a bigger contract. I think that's the setup for it. There's nothing like having the amount of confidence in you, invested in you, by a team, by the coach, by the GM, and those who matter most, the guys in the locker room. I've never heard anybody give any type of criticisms or any type of things that would give cause for pause in terms of drama. He's not a good team guy. He's not a good locker room guy. He's toxic. None of those things have ever surfaced about CJ Stroud. So I think all things given, every once in a while, you have a setback or two that takes place. His is a little bit more visible, is a little bit bigger than what maybe most people's would be. But with that being said, I think it's the right move.
Yeah.
No. I don't think it's the wrong move at all. And all it does is move the timeline, in terms of what it is that you have going on with CJ Stroud. Fifth year option. It's standard. So it's not like this is earth moving. The bigger news, the bigger story would have been if they did something different than what they did. I mean, honestly, if we're going to have a lead for CJ Stroud in this moment, the bigger story would have been if they didn't exercise that fifth-year option. And what was it that they did? Did they just redo the deal altogether? Or are they looking at it from the standpoint of we're not doing anything right now? We're just going to figure out, where we go with this. I think that this obviously shows that there's confidence in CJ Stroud. And again, like I said, that the bigger deal would have been if they didn't exercise the extension.
Yeah, it makes all the sense in the world. It's not a surprise that they picked up the 5th-year option. I think that what this does do, though, is illustrates how massive this next season is for him. Because if it comes out and it looks like it did this year and it's a carryover from what the postseason looked like, then all of a sudden we got a real conversation on our hands about what do you do, because you've got a defense that can win a Super Bowl right now, as we've talked about. Watching that game, I felt frustrated. The game against New England, I felt frustrated for the defense, and you could see their frustration because they were getting the ball back. They were getting after Mac Jones. Like it was, and there was, a couple of plays down the field, that they may have missed on, but there were so many opportunities there. And it's just crazy to think where we were a couple of years ago and where we are now. And I'm not saying that this is, a comp because it's, the 1 and 2 and all that stuff to go along with it. But, we've seen it before to where a quarterback gets off to a hot start and then a couple of things happen. And next thing you know, we're looking back going, oh, maybe it's not the same. And I don't want to jump the gun on this, but man, there was a lot of conversation about Carson Wentz and a lot of conversation about the early start of his career, and he was, MVP, this and that, and things just never got on track after he started to struggle, and the health issues and all that came along with it. And it would help if he had a consistent run game. The Joe Mixon situation is weird.
Yeah, it didn't work out.
But I just think that all of a sudden they've gone from, you've got your quarterback of the future, you've got your defense, this is a team to watch, to, I don't know.
Well, here's the sensible conclusion to this situation. CJ Stroud and his development is connected to D'Amico Ryans and his job security.
Yeah.
If this upcoming season is bad for CJ Stroud, depending on how bad it is, you have to have the conversation as to how this impacts the head coaching position. I believe poor play. This is an indication that signifies, here's the thing. Do you redo the contract now if you're confident in what CJ Stroud brings to the table for the future of this team as the franchise quarterback? Yes or no?
No.
If you're confident in what CJ Stroud brings to the table, do you extend his deal and give him a new deal beyond just doing the fifth year option?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
If that's your conclusion, Jonas, right, which that should be anybody's conclusion. If that's your conclusion, then now you got to ask yourself the question, why just do the 5th-year option? Are you waiting to do it in training camp? When are you planning on doing the full extension of, or just doing a new contract? Usually you extend it out, whatever it may be. It says to me, if they take this into the season, they're basically saying, we're not giving you a long-term contract because you may be out, and if you're out, that means the head coach is going to be out too, which signifies a rebuild because you're basically wasting away a gifted, talented, championship caliber defense.
I mean, think about it like this. 2 years ago, we were talking about maybe the greatest rookie quarterback season of all time, at least in the argument of, one of the great rookie quarterback seasons of all time, quarterback of the future, going to make, 200, 300, whatever the contract is at that time when his deal is due to be done. We've gone from that to, maybe it's not a bad idea to bench him in a playoff game. Like, that was a real conversation.
It was so bad
that was a real
people
conversation.
were really sitting on their couches saying, should they bench CJ Stroud?
They were asking D'Amico Ryans about a post game, and it wasn't the craziest thought in the world. And this is, you could tell in watching that playoff game, it was alarming, man, because he looked rattled. It looked like there was other stuff going on that he just couldn't figure it out and get out of his own way. And the fact that was a real discussion to be had, I think tells you a lot about where he was at in that game and why this offseason is such a big deal. And look, I hope that it works out because CJ Stroud, to your point, seems like a really good dude. You never hear anything bad about him. He's not getting in trouble. None of that stuff that you hear going on with him. But it is fair to wonder if maybe we jumped the gun a little bit following one season, only to find out things look awkward. And for what it's worth, DeMeco Ryans made a bold move to where you went from. You had an offensive coordinator in Houston, CJ Stroud's rookie year, who was being interviewed for head coaching jobs because of the work he did with CJ Stroud, to out of a job the next year. Like, there's been turnover there as well, too. It just feels like it's a lot, and it illustrates why this year is so important for him.
There's no jumping the gun on having a stellar season, because you don't have stellar seasons by accident. You have stellar seasons because of your preparation, because everything went the way that it was supposed to go. Things just haven't gone the way that they've supposed to gone on the offensive side of the ball, and more specifically, CJ Stroud. So there's always the opportunity to improve and become more of what you need to become versus just slipping into the abyss of being in the pool of serviceable quarterbacks that actually could have been looked at and viewed as a franchise guy. It happens all the time. I was in D.C. when RG3 got there. Talk about a meteoric rise, a quick meteoric rise. His first season was as stellar as it gets as well. Just so happens Haloti Nada got a hold of his leg, and his leg was never the same, and neither was his game. Sometimes that happens. Sometimes guys get off to slow starts, and then they end up being freaking Hall of Famers. We don't know what the book is. It's not out. It's not written yet for CJ Stroud, but it's a better decision to give him the confidence and the backing and support that he needs, rather than in this NFL climate this year, this offseason, to actually think that you're going to sever the relationship, destroy the relationship between you and CJ Stroud over poor play during the course of last year.
I mean, look, could be worse.
Could be worse.
Could have that weirdo back, There is that. I mean,
and he is back.
He
got
back.
baptized.
Who did? Deshaun?
Yeah.
Did he really? Well, congratulations.
He got baptized, man. So you can't keep hitting him with it. I wonder if they dried him off with a towel.
Oh, no.
But anyway, all right. So that's the last time I'm gonna do it, right? I'm going last time. I'm gonna take a shot.
That's disrespectful.
I wonder how many
man.
towels they used to dry him off. No. But seriously,
that's very.
I mean, they say when you get baptized, the old you dies and the new you emerges.
Yeah.
I believe in grace. I believe in being able to redeem yourself. Redemption stories are phenomenal.
Yeah.
Deshaun Watson has a tremendous opportunity to be a great redemption story, and I hope it plays out that way. And I hope for CJ Stroud it plays out that way. But I'll tell you what, 25-9. Yeah, 25-9. 25-9. 25-9. Set. Hut. All the way to my bank account. You ain't doing too bad.
It's well, you could probably afford a Z-Cliner. I know that. Because if you've got trouble sleeping, introducing Z-Cliner, the revolutionary recliner designed by Flex Steel. The Z-Cliner was engineered with restful sleep in mind, making it an ideal bed alternative. A healthy life starts with a healthy night's sleep. Visit zcliner.com/StanPatrick today to find Z-Cliner at a store near you. So we are going to have the usuals. It's LaVar, Arrington, Jonas, Knox in for Dan and the guys as we take you all the way up on this 3-hour journey. We are going to catch up with our guy, Pete Prisco. He's going to join us. If you like red asses in the morning, Pete Prisco's your guy. That's going to be a lot of fun. We'll talk to Pete. We're going to have another edition of
Tux Pats for that,
Do they really?
Yeah.
Nice.
It helps take off the redness.
Then we're going to have another edition of In Case You Missed It. We've got the leftovers. All of it is yours here on Fox Sports Radio. But apparently some good news for one franchise in the world of sports.
Nectar of the gods.
We'll tell you what it is next. But the NBA playoffs are here, and DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA, boosts every game day the whole postseason. When the lights get brightest, the best players in the world show you exactly who they are. Playoff starts, turn up, round by round by round. If you are a star and you are starting and you want to pop up and make an impact, now is the time. And DraftKings turns it up too with a profit boost available every single game day from the first round all the way to the finals. New sportsbook customers bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets instantly. Did you hear that? New sportsbook customers bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets instantly. All you got to do is download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code Patrick. So you're ready for the moment. That's code Patrick. Turn $5 into $300 in bonus bets if your bet wins in partnership with DraftKings. The crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or 1-800-MY-RESET. New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. Connecticut, call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org.
Hard Knocks
on behalf
is
of
back,
Blue Hill Casino in Kansas.
except
Wager tax
with a
pass-through may
twist.
apply in Illinois.
Because
21 plus in most
it used
states,
to be
or in
where
Ontario, restrictions
they would just
apply.
announce
Bonus
one
bets
team.
expire 7 days
This
after
year they
issuance.
announced
For
two.
additional terms
So
and
we now
responsible
know the
gaming
two teams
resources,
in the
see
Super Bowl, the
sportsbook.draftkings.com/promos.
and the Patriots
Limited time
are
offer.
going to be in this year's Hard Knocks for Seattle and next year's Hard Knocks for New England. And people are asking the question, why would they announce the next two? They've never done that before. Adam Schefter, take it away.
So the NFL has been asking teams to do Hard Knocks, and the answer always is next year. We'll do it next year. So what the NFL did this year, when the New England Patriots said we'll do it next year, they said, you're in. You've got 2027. Congratulations. And so they've taken the two Super Bowl participants, the Seahawks this summer in 26, the Patriots next summer in 27, and they held their feet to the fire.
If you've got to do that to get somebody to participate, isn't that a sign that maybe we ought to move off of Hard Knocks? Like, if you've got to basically trick teams into doing Hard Knocks because they don't want to do it, nobody wants to do it, nobody likes it, can we just get rid of it? Like, why is this still happening? There's enough content out there. There's enough documentaries. There's enough stuff out there that you can watch on the NFL, podcast, streaming. Like, there's all these different options out there. And for whatever reason, they still shove it down everybody's throat. And I don't get it. I really don't understand.
It's got to be HBO and whatever they're paying the NFL for the rights of it. I mean, NFL Films produces it, so the NFL has some sort of control over what gets out, what doesn't. Remember how they had to do away with all the, I mean, really the stuff that people watched for. You know, as much as we hate to admit it, part of the reality TV to the actual show itself was seeing guys get cut, was seeing guys' reactions, was feeling like you were watching a real life interview over the course of training camp. And that was the stakes. You had players who were either going to make it or they weren't. And you got to see behind the scenes how that was going to work out. And that grueling portion of the year where football players are preparing themselves to go into a back in the day, 16 games, now 17 game season. But that was what it was all about. Unfortunately, we had to, dumb it down, and we had to cut out some of the drama because agents got sensitive about their players, and the players obviously didn't like it, so then they wouldn't want to participate. So I just want to know how much HBO is paying the NFL to license these rights, because otherwise, to your point, like, why are we doing this? I mean, I also didn't realize, they used to pay players to be a part of it. Like, vets would make up to $8,000 for the series, rookies to like $2,000.
Really?
Just to be a part of it? Yeah.
I never heard of that.
I didn't either, but I was kind of researching all this, and this dates back to like 2001.
That's crazy.
Where they had to start incentivizing guys.
Why is it so? Why are people so resistant to it? Why you guys think they're so resistant to wanting to do Hard Knocks?
Okay, because I think that leads to my question I was going to ask you guys. Is it realistic? Is it still realistic?
It's not realistic. You're allowing someone else to kind of shape the story for the drama. You don't have control over it. And that's the truth is you'd want all these teams. I mean, think about every head coach. They want to control the messaging. So once you bring in cameras and someone else has editorial control, it changes things. And they have to make a show out of it. So they've got to over-exaggerate or dramatize more than they really need to.
Mm-hmm.
That's the reality of it. It's a distraction to every coach, every player that's a part of it. And unless you have direct control over what gets out, you don't want them coming infiltrating your training camp, your room.
Sure. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. I just don't know. It's interesting. I feel like anytime you could get, what are you laughing at, bro?
I still don't know where you come up with this. Really walking on water.
Sure enough. Golly. I look at any opportunity that, like, J.J. Watt took full advantage of Hard Knocks.
I think that's what turned me against it.
Really?
Yeah.
What I was like, golly, talk about branding yourself and showing that, this is why he's who he is. Like, I thought it was an amazing opportunity for him to build himself. I would always, in my mind, if you had these situations with shows or like the Sunday show where they do the spotlighting of you and stuff like that, I thought that you were supposed to do it. I thought that it made sense to do it because if you can gain exposure, make sure you're doing what you need to do in those moments that you get the opportunity to gain that exposure. But that's just how I think. A lot of guys don't like being in front of the camera or don't like kind of taking advantage of having those types of opportunities. But if I'm on one of those teams, I'm coming in with a plan.
It's a Dan Patrick Show here on Fox Sports Radio. LaVar, Arrington, Jonas, Knox in for Dan and the guys. Coming up, we'll call it a little over 15 minutes from now. We got a little something we do on the show called In Case You Missed It. That'll be yours here on FSR. But right now, it is time for the Tire Rack play of the day.
The 1-0. Jackson gets into one. Deep left field. Back is the left fielder. Turning around. That baby is gone. A grand slam. Jeremiah Jackson clears them.
Orioles Radio Network on the call. That is your Tire Rack play of the day. For over 40 years, Tire Rack's been helping customers find the right tires for how, what, and where they drive. Shipped fast and free. Backed by free road hazard protection with convenient installation options like mobile tire installation. TireRack.com, the way tire buying should be. The NBA playoffs, actually, you know what? I'm not even going to call them that. I won't.
Right.
I'm sorry. The NBA play-in games start later on tonight. We've got the Heat and the Hornets. We've got the Blazers and the Suns.
Okay.
And we'll get to see who's got an opportunity to go to the postseason. Charlotte's a fun team to watch. They
are pretty fun to watch.
32-13 since the beginning of January. Like they found something there with Knipple, with Ball.
The
like
nipples.
That's who doesn't like that? That's a fun team to watch. The other news that came out in the NBA yesterday,
nipples and balls,
was the hey, nowadays you never know. The other thing that that came out in the NBA
and the play-in tournament, that is.
Yes. The other news that came out was potentially good news for the Los Angeles Lakers.
Nectar of the gods.
And our friends listening on the Blowtorch, AM 570 LA Sports. Luka Doncic.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I told y'all.
Hey.
I said it. I called it earlier. He's coming back earlier than what I thought.
He is returning to Los Angeles on Friday. He has spent the last week in Spain getting some injections on his hamstring issue. He has this grade 2 hamstring strain, and he's returning to Los Angeles to be with the team. He will not be playing in the game or playing in playoff games early on. But
expected to return.
He is going to be with the team potentially.
What did I roll out to you yesterday?
Yeah.
I said there's a 3-win chance here for everybody involved. 1, JJ Redick, you coach your ass all the way off. You shouldn't have no ass left with all the coaching that you do in these first few games until whatever when Luka gets back. And for what it's worth, then you coach some more. You continue to coach. If you make it into the second round with what you're dealing with Luka, with where your team is currently, not having Reeves available, that's a win for J.J. Redick as a coach.
Yeah.
If LeBron James, who is going to have to play out of his mind for them to get out of this round with Houston, if he plays the way he needs to play and has been playing, I saw like the criticisms like, there's not enough. LeBron James is too old. And all of those things would be 100% accurate. He is too old. They don't have enough.
Damn.
But for the sake of sports people, what if LeBron James finds some magic and plays out of his mind like he has been playing lately, as of late, and they make it into the second round of the playoffs, and now you have Luka back.
Yeah.
Thus, the third victory that's in the queue. If Luka comes back, because here's the thing. Everybody's like, hamstring, da-da-da. Luka don't play defense anyway. Let's be clear. Luka is not going to hurt himself because he's working his ass off to play some defense.
Trying to get a loose ball.
And he's not a slasher. So the things that he does best is find a way to get the ball and let it go.
Yeah.
You get his hamstring good enough for him to get up and down the court, set up, and he can handle the discomfort of getting up and down the court and letting that ball go. He's going to draw the defense out. He's going to draw that defense out, and if Luka is able to have success with making some of them baskets, it's going to open up things down below. Maybe Ayton, Guyton, maybe those guys are able to have an impact on the series. Who knows what happens? The potential of Austin Reeves potentially coming back could take place late in the second series, start of the next series after that in the championship rounds. It's a win for the Los Angeles. Let's go 4 wins. J.J. Redick as a coach. LeBron James in being as phenomenal as he's been, and this being probably the final season he's going to be with the Lakers, it's a win to go out this way, carrying the team. He went out on his shield. Luka not taking the easy road, the soft tissue injury road, and not playing. He's trying to come back. If he makes it back and he impacts it, that's a win. And the 4th win I shall add to this list, the L.A. Lakers. They win as a franchise if they are able to get out of the first round of this playoff run. I believe it is a tremendous undertaking to beat one of the better teams out there in the NBA right now in the Rockets. It's a young team. It's a really talented team. They got a lot going for them. They got a guy by the name of what's his name? What's the score?
Oh, Kevin Durant.
The sniper? Oh, yeah. They got a team. If they can get out of that series, there's a quadruple win that is on, that gets registered in the record book.
Yeah. It's over. You've seen the last of
I did
Luka.
all that for nothing.
You've seen the last of Luka. And here's why I say that. One, they're not beating the Rockets. Austin Reeves is not coming back till at best the second round. And when Luka does come back, you really want to rush him back out there. The guy just got, blood spinning done or whatever he did. They put a bull elephant gun to his hamstring to try and get him ready to go. And then you're relying on LeBron James. I look at it if I'm the Lakers and I say this. Whatever. Like, because it was never about this year anyways. Like, this was all about let's end this peacefully. Let's end this quietly. The LeBron era is over, and then we move forward and we start thinking about the future with Luka, Austin Reeves, and you figure it out from there. This year was, I don't want to call it a free roll. I just think it was a let's be nice to everybody here. It's been awkward. It's been a weird vibe with LeBron and everyone knowing that it's probably the end of the run here, and everyone's like, we're good here. We're probably better off apart. If I'm the Lakers, why do I want to rush Luka back in a series where your second or third best player isn't even going to be a part of it, Austin Reeves? Why would you want to rush Luka back to that with a bum hamstring?
To try to win.
To try and win.
To try to win.
When look, the odds improved from yesterday's show to today's show, whether that's the Luka news or whatever on the Rockets and Lakers series, and it's still Rockets minus 650 on DraftKings.
Dang. No hope.
So I look at it, if I'm the Lakers, why am I going to – it's
That's
great.
what makes sports amazing.
But if he comes back.
Do you know for certain if he comes back he's going to wreck his career by re-injuring his hamstring?
I'm not saying he's going to wreck his career.
Do you know for certain that the Houston Rockets are going to thrash the Lakers?
Yes.
Do you know for certain?
Yes. And I think a lot of people do. And I don't think it's just people that have a side to pick from or a team to root for. I think
that is unfair.
When you see a line come out like that, where it's Houston minus 650,
they still got to play,
and that's improved.
They still got to play
from the day before.
You're living in the gambling odds. I know you feel like the lines don't lie, but you have come in and you have approached me to give you my money for bets where you felt like the lines didn't lie, and I did not get my money back. I did not get my money back. That is your fault for trusting the lines, and it's my fault for trusting the lines.
Blame the scumbags who scored that boxing event that we were at.
It is true.
All right, that was a scumbag decision by a bunch of judges who were probably on the take.
Very
all right,
true.
I know that's reckless,
they took ours.
We got screwed. Let me tell you something. I needed that $20.
Me too.
Sons of bitches.
Can we not bury two of the leads here?
Yeah.
One being a very quick lead. Steph Curry and Kawhi Leonard have to try to play their way into the playoffs. Now, we just had a conversation because March Madness just ended, and one Jonas Knox asked the question, does the play-in teams, do they even count? They don't even count them on the March Madness bracket.
Yeah.
Do they even count? So now the question becomes, do the play-in teams even count? And how crazy is it to think that maybe the Clippers catch fire and give somebody trouble coming out of the play-in? Maybe Steph Curry and the Warriors catch fire and give people problems coming into the regular playoffs. Maybe one of these play-in teams catches fire and gives a team that was deserving of being in the playoffs an early departure ticket. I find that to be kind of it's entertaining, but I don't know that I like it.
Well, here's the problem I have with the NBA playoff format is there's no real and I guess it's a good and a bad thing. The good thing is, at the end of it all, the best team wins because you've got to beat a team in a 7-game series all the way through. I guess the part that I'm not crazy about is when there was the 5-game series where you had the Dikembe Mutombo Nuggets team beat the Sonics back then, because it was a shorter series, there was more of a chance that you could catch somebody who was a higher seed. Mm-hmm. And nowadays it's just so difficult to beat a team in a 7-game series 4 times if you're the quote-unquote worst of the two teams. And so even though one of these teams could get in, and look, Miami did it a couple of years ago where they made a run and they got hot, but I look at some of these teams with the opportunity, and the one I'm most interested in is Charlotte because it's new and they've been on such a tear. But, man, Golden State's been banged up. The Clippers have been, Kawhi's had a really good bounce back year, but the Clippers, you never know, especially in the postseason. And it just feels, and the Sixers are always banged up. Seemingly, there's always a problem there with Joel Embiid or whoever is dealing with whatever they're dealing with. I look at it and I go, it would be nice, but the 7-game format kind of kills the suspense and the opportunity for some of these lower seeds to make a run at this thing.
Next one, and I know we're up against it, but the next one, we just had the conversation where we brought up the antitrust laws protecting the National Football League. The viewership and how viewers are getting bludgeoned in terms of viewership, how you're able to watch it. Everything is paid for, but it's an outdated law that represents what the NFL has been negotiating now that you have streaming. Streaming was not a thing when this law was made. And so to look at where the NFL is now and how many platforms out there they're using to expand their reach, to expand their distribution, and it's streaming. Well, Amazon Prime owns the rights to the play-in. If you do not have Amazon Prime, you cannot view the play-in NBA playoff games. Are the NBA play-in playoff games important enough for you to actually get a Prime subscription to see them? Now, you may cancel after. I don't know what the rules are. I'm sure they're aware of that. So they're going to find a way where they're going to still get their pound out of you before you get out of there with your cancellation after seeing the games. But doesn't this sound interesting that you cannot find on cable, Dish, any other regular television channels, you cannot watch the game?
It's almost as if the question is, are these play-in games worth the number of boxes you're going to have to break down from Amazon?
Come on, man. Ain't that crazy?
Because there's a lot of them.
God bless. I mean, what a great strategy to funnel people more, like as a Bezos, as if you don't have enough people. My trash cans be full every single trash day, every week, with Amazon boxes that are too big for the packages that come to my house.
It's unbelievable. Like, I order a travel-sized toothpaste. It comes in a box that you would put a body in. Like, it's just enough's enough, okay? Well, you don't need to show off how much extra spending cash you have by sending that stuff in a giant box. Enough's enough. So is the time you've got to take to break down those boxes worth paying to be able to watch these playing
That's
games?
going to be a big question, and I got to say, this is one of those.
I need it. I've heard this.
I've heard this before. This is one of those situations, Jonas, where the NBA, much like other professional sports, are watching what happens with the NFL and this whole the government coming after them and saying that it's not enough free television for viewers to see it free. This is one of those situations. If it doesn't go well for the National Football League, you got to believe that the NBA is on the clock.
Yeah.
They're on the clock because there's too much of this going on. You're forcing. You're not giving the viewer and the fan the opportunity. You're forcing them to go somewhere where they may or may not want to go.
Yeah. It is two pros and a cup of Joe, LaVar Arrington, Jonas Knox, sitting in for the Dan Patrick Show here on Fox Sports Radio. And up next, we are going to have another edition of In Case You Missed It, and it's yours right here on FSR. And a congratulations to Trae Young of the Wizards.
Yeah.
That a baby.
How you going to get fired on your day off?
That's crazy.
Can't come on the court. Argue calls.
Hasn't even played yet. Already got ejected out of a game. Can I ask this about Trae Young? I feel like he came into the NBA as the second coming, or at least was billed as the second coming of Steph Curry. Is that fair?
Yeah.
Hasn't exactly gone the way we thought. And I know it took Steph Curry a little while before he became Steph Curry.
Not this while.
And by the way, no one's going to doubt Trae Young's talent. But why, in your minds, has he not come together the way they thought? And this league's built for him, right? I mean, it's just a 3-point shooting, spread it out. You know, that's where the game is. It literally plays into his skill set and into his hand.
We'll never see another Steph Curry. So if he was being built up to be the next Steph Curry, that's strike number 1, 2, and 3 already. Like, you can compare the dude, and he's got great handles. He's been pretty good in terms of distribution of the ball. He can score. He developed a nice reputation in Atlanta, but he's not even an A-level. He's not an A-level talent in the league. He's really good, and he's had really, really bright moments, but there's not a level of consistency and there's not a level of dominance connected to his game where he impacts games on a regular basis like a Steph Curry.
I mean, he's also Steph Curry. Also, I think had a better infrastructure than Trae Young as far as a supporting cast.
Yeah, that's fair. That's 100% fair.
Atlanta's been a bit of a mess for a long time now, and
that's a good call.
This actually surprised me because, look,
if he went to that same infrastructure, the same team had the same players, Trae Young still would pale in comparison to Steph Curry. And that's LaVar's opinion. That's probably not truth, but that's LaVar's opinion.
Is that a sensitive fine?
You saw what I did there?
What happened?
You saw what I did there?
Sensitive.
No. I just I'm petty. I'm just petty. That's all. I love referencing back things. That's
Mr.
all.
What was it in reference to?
The last segment. Yeah, get that.
Oh.
But that's what Q does. Q hits me with there's the truth and then there's LaVar's opinion.
Yeah.
I'm just giving you the stats, dude. You don't have to get upset because
I'm not upset.
I'm telling you what it says.
Bro, listen, that's a misleading stat. But to everybody out there, go with the misleading stat and love and live with it.
Can I give you a stat
let me
here?
just throw this out there.
Right,
4-time All-Star. He was runner-up for Rookie of the Year.
Yeah.
I just want to be clear. I'm not making the case that he hasn't had a good career. That is a good career thus far.
Sure.
Throughout the course of it.
It's not a Hall of Fame career.
I think people tend to forget how good he was coming out of Oklahoma.
Sure.
I mean, he averaged 27 points a game, about 9 assists a game. I mean, he was firing shots from the logo type style of play. And again, maybe you're right. Maybe it is the infrastructure around Atlanta, given some of the decisions they've made, in particular of late. You know, it was the Magic City night they're having.
Oh yeah, we got an update on that, by the way.
Feels like maybe the priorities are on things outside of building around.
Not everybody's
their players.
Yeah, you had to cancel that. But here's what I thought you guys were going to say. Kyrie Irving. He would be more of a comparison to Kyrie than to Steph Curry.
Well,
I don't think that
Kyrie took it to the rack like that. I don't feel like that was his game.
Trey took it to the hole.
Also,
it was a slasher.
No, he was more of he's a jump shooter.
Jump shooter, slasher, facilitator.
If there was no Steph Curry, Trae Young would be viewed completely different. Because if you just look at his numbers, and the natural instinct is to compare him to Steph Curry, and I totally get it, and it's fair. But if you just looked at his numbers, Trae Young, 3rd all time in assists per game. He trails, I think, John Stockton and Magic Johnson. He's for his
how is that comparable to Steph Curry?
Because it's a different. Steph Curry's not on that list. Steph Curry is a scorer. Is a scorer. But it's not like Trae Young can't score. The guy's averaging 26 a game for his career. Like, he's had a really, really, really good career, but he'll never compare to Steph Curry. And so because there's always going to be that comp, he's never going to be able to live up to that. He's just not going to. And it doesn't, like, he's had a wonderful career, but I think the Steph Curry being present and playing at the same time is going to completely overshadow whatever Trae Young does. And Trae Young's going to be a Hall of Famer, by the way.
No, he won't.
Yes, he will.
No, he won't.
You don't think Trae Young's going to be a Hall of Famer?
Get out! No.
Ben Wall. Woo! It is the Dan Patrick Show here on Fox Sports Radio. LaVar Arrington, Jonas Knox in for Dan and the guys. Coming up, top of next hour, a little over 10 minutes from now. Apparently, things are heading in the wrong direction for somebody in the world of football. We'll get into that for you right here on FSR. Before we get to another edition of In Case You Missed It, a reminder to check out our brand new YouTube channel for the show. Just search 2 Pros FSR on YouTube. Again, that's 2 Pros FSR. Be sure to hit the subscribe button. Don't stop there. Hit the thumbs up icon and comment away. Let us know who on the show you agree with, who you think is wrong. But check out our new channel on YouTube. Again, just search 2 Pros FSR and subscribe. And you can see us right now on YouTube. So again, go to 2 Pros FSR and subscribe.
Sometimes you can't get to everything in the world of sports or entertainment. Good thing the guys are here to bring you In Case You Missed It.
LaVar, in case you missed this,
Okay.
I'll tell you the tale of Jarvis Moore.
Give me the tale of Jarvis.
Jarvis Moore, you're probably looking at it going,
pause.
What is he, like a linebacker
Sounds
from
like
an SEC school or something like that? Well, I mean, Alabama is correct.
Or receiver.
He's a former Morgan County jail officer.
Oh, wow.
He's now facing 7 felony extortion charges related to
That's not good.
taking honey buns from inmates. He worked at
what type of buns?
He worked at the
what do you mean, honey
like the
buns?
snack, honey buns, yeah.
Oh, okay, I was just making sure.
He worked at the Morgan County Jail for 24 years. He turned himself in.
You are one greedy SOB, man.
Now,
I don't understand. You're extorting them for their honey buns?
This story started making the rounds recently because there's a lot going on, and people are paying attention to different things. But yeah, apparently,
talk about an abuse of power.
He got popped for stealing the honey buns. Now he has said the following quote: "I just want the people to know that I didn't do this. And it is killing me to be plastered all over the world that I am this and I am that and I am not that." He claims he is diabetic, which shows a real will.
Listen.
Hey, that's a real will to compete, I'll tell you that.
Boosting honey buns don't mean you're eating the honey buns. You could be giving them to other people.
Now, he does not deny taking the honey buns. He says he was following an established policy that when inmates started fires in the jail, it was policy to take commissary items from those inmates to give them to others. So basically,
he's saying making sure they share.
Yeah, I mean, if you
sharing is caring.
If you start lighting stuff on fire inside the jail, you're going to lose your honey bun. So how bad do you want that flame? or how bad do you want that sugar?
If you light the fire, then you can toast that honey bun. They say they're better warm than they are cold.
He said it's been going on for years. Moore and his attorney, Scott Morrow, believe the charges are retaliation connected to a leaked video of an inmate who died in jail custody in April of last year. So that's how you get revenge. With too many honey buns. Yeah, so that's the current state of affairs in the jail/prison system. If you want to get some revenge, you steal somebody's honey buns.
Hey,
I'll say this though, they're not bad. They're not bad. Now,
were they glazed honey buns or just regular honey
glazed?
Yeah, that's a game changer.
That's worth it, man.
When it got that glazed cover on them, got that icing on them.
That's worth it,
Changes the game.
We are Fox Sports.
Two Pros and a Cup of Joe, Fox Sports Radio.
You ready? Yes!
No pain, no gain, and I have dished out a lot of pain.
I played the game. The rules are still the same.
Hey, America, you want some sports? We got it for you.
Two Pros and a Cup of Joe is three guys talking sports, having some fun, and a great way to wake up in the morning.
Hey, listen, there's a lot of stats for us to get through right now.
We're here to break it all down for you.
I always hear that defense wins championships, but LaVar, I can't help but notice that the W-2s for the quarterback look a lot higher.
That's because we're worth it.
You gotta be kidding. It's just one of those shows that gives you that feeling of, I'm talking to my friend anywhere you may be, a sports bar, a living room. As different as we are, it works.
When he scores his first touchdown, what will the celebration be?
It might just be a spike.
Yes.
He's going to derobe first.
Jeez.
They set their wedding date on the day of the Super Bowl, and the groom's trying to move the wedding now to get out of it so he can go see the game. Is he in the wrong here?
Let that man use them tickets.
Unbelievable.
We're like those three best friends that grew up together.
We've developed a chemistry. In case you missed it, LA's finest, that's right, everybody's favorite. Apparently had a few too many drinks last night. This guy's got a little bit of an issue here, huh?
Call a taxi.
I hear he has a weird infatuation with elevator rides.
There we go.
We're three brothers and we look identical.
Oh, wow. Really?
I totally agree.
Yeah. Wrap it up, let's go.
My guys.
Yes! Two Pros.
And a Cup of Joe.
More sports, more fun.
In the East, out west, Suns play the Trailblazers in Phoenix for the 7th seed, and the winner gets a date with Victor Wembanyama, the 2nd-seeded Spurs in the opening round. On the ice, Sabres skate past the Blackhawks 5-1 to clinch the Atlantic Division title. Sabres coach Lindy Ruff on the season.
This last 4 months has been so much fun coaching this group that, you hope to get the team in the right place, but these guys have exceeded my expectations.
The Flyers beat the Hurricanes in a shootout to clinch a playoff spot for the first time since 2020. And the Kings are playoff bound after knocking off the Kraken 5-3. In baseball, Dodgers shut out the Mets 4-0, sending New York to their 6th straight loss. Mets haven't crossed home plate in 20 straight innings. Orioles scored 8 unanswered runs. Rally beat the Diamondbacks 9-7 in Baltimore. That's sports. I'm Ronza Moss.
It's the Dan Patrick Show here on Fox Sports Radio. He's LaVar Arrington. I'm Jonas Knox. In for Dan and the guys. You can hear us weekday mornings alongside Brady Quinn on Two Pros and a Cup of Joe before the Dan Patrick Show, 6 a.m. Eastern Time, 3 o'clock Pacific. But yesterday and today, we're in for Dan and the boys as we take you all the way up until noon Eastern Time, 9 o'clock Pacific. You can listen on the iHeartRadio app. You can find us on hundreds of affiliates all across the country. If you're listening on the podcast, we appreciate you doing so. You can also watch us as well, too, today. Go to YouTube at 2ProsFSR on YouTube. That is at 2ProsFSR. And you can hang out with us here on this 3-hour journey as we are rocking and rolling here, LaVar.
Mm-hmm. Good morning, everyone.
I don't know if this is a sign of the times or maybe we have a little bit of a problem here. But Colorado and Coach Prime's Colorado Buffaloes, they had their spring game over the weekend.
Mm-hmm.
And according to Colorado Sports Only on social media, the attendance at the Colorado spring games has started to decline over the 4 years since Deion Sanders has taken over. In 2023, the first year, a little over 47,000 showed up to Boulder for the spring game. The next year, it was 28,000. The year after that, it was 20. And then approximately in between 17 and 18,000 over the weekend there in Boulder, Colorado. That according to Sean Keeler of the Denver Post. So the school was claiming that there was about 27 and change there, but upon further review, they might have rounded up an extra 10,000 to get to that number. And so there's some people that have speculated that, well, maybe the coolness and the newness of the Colorado program under Deion Sanders has kind of run its course. That, along with the fact that, coming off a disappointing season, there's a lot of stuff going on, and you don't have Shedeur, you don't have Travis Hunter there, and so some people are worried about the state of affairs there in Colorado.
You don't have Shedeur, you don't have Travis Hunter. You were good enough to win 4 games when they were there. Let that sink in. So we're saying that the drawing card was Coach Prime, Shedeur Sanders, Travis Hunter. But it didn't yield you a result. Like, they had the great start. Didn't they start like 3-0, I believe, his first year there?
Yeah.
And they had the big win against, what was it, TCU early first game or something like that? Was it the Bullfrogs?
I think they beat Nebraska. Didn't they beat Nebraska as well, too, if I'm not mistaken?
The first game out, they were supposed to get spanked by
and they
Texas
won that game.
Christian. I believe they Here's what I'll say. Coach Deion Sanders brings a lot of the spotlight and attention his way by the way he handles things. He's unapologetically who he is, and he leads with his faith and his belief. He carries it through with his commitment to his family and the people that he cares about. And he's a master salesperson. He sells what he buys into. He was able to sell himself as a player. He's been able to sell himself as a coach. He was able to sell you his kids as players. He's been able to sell you Travis Hunter. And ultimately, he's been able to sell you the vision and the dream of what the Colorado Buffaloes program could potentially become under his leadership. He's along the way, he sold you some Nike shoes. He sold you some Blender, sunglasses.
Oh, yeah.
He sold you some fried chicken. He's selling you. The year before Deion Sanders got there, I believe the attendance was reported at 10,300, 10,000 some change, whatever it was. So even with his 50% fall off on attendance to a spring game, it's more relevant and more significant than what it was when he got there. And I think sometimes we forget that those 3 wins was better than what they did when he got there. Those 4 wins that he got last year, it was better than what he did. Or excuse me, the 4 wins the first year, the 3 wins last year. It was better than what it was when he got there. Building programs don't always come together like it did for Kirk Cignetti in Indiana. It's an outlier. And when you look at how difficult it is, and especially in the NIL era time, how difficult it is to build a team, continue to grow the team, retain players, and retain coaches. I think it kind of comes across as there is a focal point that probably, again, that Deion is most likely created by his personality and the way that he is. But, Jonas, ultimately, I think what we're looking at here is the Deion Sanders effect. If this is any other school, why is this even a report?
Right.
You're talking about a 3-win team, a 4-win team, 4-win team, 3-win team. Why else are we talking about this team right now?
Because of Deion Sanders.
Okay.
And that's – I look at this and I go, if we just want to address some of the other stuff about Colorado. So some players who transferred and entered the portal, because they lost a lot of players who entered the portal.
A lot of players.
I think it was like 35 or some crazy number like that. But they've also added some players as well, too. But there's some players had made some comments about the program. Deion Sanders was pretty classy in his response to what they were saying, which that whole thing, especially – look, I could understand if it was back in the day and you didn't really have a ton of options and you were kind of stuck in this spot or whatever it was. But if you make the decision to leave someplace and you are also getting paid to leave that place, just shut up. Like, nobody cares about your complaints about the program. You made it clear and obvious that you wanted to go elsewhere, which is why you left to begin with. Let it be. It wasn't for you. You didn't like the no social media stuff that he implemented. Maybe there should be more of that, just in general for everybody. But I look at it and I go, you do realize the bucket of vomit that you were before he got there, right? Like, you do realize it was an irrelevant program with zero buzz and zero interest. And I get that they haven't won a national title and they haven't won all these big games and they haven't been a playoff team and so on and so forth. But the fact that this is even a conversation, that it's even being talked about,
it's wild.
I look at it and I go, whatever the win-loss record is, it's a success. Because
if it ain't zero.
Yeah, like it's
if it ain't 0 or 1, it's a success.
And if you want to make the decision after this year that you've got to move on or it's just not working or, his style isn't working, then that's fine. But you look back on this era of Colorado football and you can say that it peaked early and people lost interest down the stretch. Hard to argue with the fact that there's never been more interest in that program other than when they were winning national titles.
You can say that for college football.
It was a rock concert.
You can say that for college sports. That Deion Sanders invigorated all of sports with his inaugural year at Colorado.
I think it was great, man.
He was a rising tide for everyone his first year in Colorado. Everyone. Hey, you need to resurface, get your name out, get your brand out, go to a Colorado game. Hey, you want to get your name out there? You want to get some press, some media? Go visit Prime in his office.
They had, was it Lil Wayne, Machine Gun Kelly?
The names are so – that list is so long of people who walked through – thanks for my invite, Deion. Of all those people who walked through the doors and visited Coach Prime, whether it was game day, whether it was off days and just came into the office, it was a who's who of people circulating through Boulder, Colorado. And if you took a poll with any of those people, those celebrities that came there, I would probably be willing to bet the bank that most of them had never been to the University of Colorado before then.
By the way, I want to correct I don't think Machine Gun Kelly actually performed in Boulder, Colorado, but he should have. All right, he should have. So that's his fault.
There.
All right, it's not my fault.
Was he there? Did he visit?
Yeah, who knows?
He was probably there.
But it was a who's who of everybody that wanted to be a part of the biggest show in football, and it's why it was talked about and discussed the way that it was. So when I see this stuff come out to where people are like, oh my God, the spring game numbers are down. Okay,
they gave you what you wanted.
And by the way, who knows if the weather, whether the weather was cooperating? I saw that there was some thunderstorms and things like that. Maybe people didn't want to stand in the rain to go watch Colorado practice in a spring game. Like, what do you? The spring game is free for a reason. Like, if you show up, you show up. If not, whatever.
Parking isn't free.
They charge you for parking?
I believe so.
Wow. I mean, what do you want? You want it to be
what do you want?
You want it to be Georgia's spring game where they're handing out condoms because Ludacris is performing?
Dang. They did that with Snoop at the Kentucky Midnight Madness.
Yeah, that would as well too. It's like, what am I supposed to do with this? Make balloon animals?
Shoot some rubbers out. Everybody's coming. I've been to the last 3 Penn State blue-white games. Totally different from what it was in the early 2000s, late 90s. Totally different. You go I went last year. No, it's just desolate. Like I went last year.
People not going, really? No buzz?
No, well, I don't know about this year, but last year, and we were basically being considered the national champs, like to compete for it.
Number 2?
Nobody was there, man.
Wow.
Nobody was there. Like, it was it was like tumbleweeds. Like, it's not what I was accustomed to when I was there. And I'm not trying to make it an I thing, but it's different. I think the landscape of spring ball is very different than what it has been. And I think historically, if we're trying to compare what it is now to what it's becoming, and that's why you saw Deion talking about having a different team to play in the spring game. Maybe that would bring a level of excitement to the fan base. Maybe that would be a drawing card to come. Because outside of Deion Sanders using his influence to bring in these acts, to bring in these celebrities and superstars to come be a part of the landscape of Boulder, you don't have that. You don't have that anywhere. And so when you look at why he's been able to do it, who did he have perform this year? Do we know? Did he have anybody perform this year?
I don't know.
You know, there's things that people can look at and say, okay, did this person performing hold the weight of people coming out and wanting to see a glorified practice, a walkthrough? It's not a scrimmage anymore. Guys aren't going live. It's not you're keeping score who wins black or gold. Like, it's not that anymore. It's a practice. So what? We're going to take off and go see this and fill in and pack out this stadium for the sake of people being able to say that 40,000 people were here, 60,000 people were here. Like, that used to be a flex, but I don't think that exists anymore.
Yeah, and who knows, by the way, people got other plans. It's a Saturday. Weather's in the 70s. It might rain. It might not. Next thing you know, some guys out there smoking the hippie lettuce, having a couple of throat burners. People want to have a good time.
If you're using it to have a good time, and that's why you went to do all that, the throat burner, the lettuce, the high powered lettuce,
get on some of that liver lube,
the liver lubing, all that stuff that you're doing, you might want to do that and go in and see the new players or go see what's going on or whatever it may be. All I'm saying is that the criticisms that are coming towards Deion Sanders, while I'll say the attention that he garners would say it's justified for him to get the criticisms, I'll say on the other side of it, I don't think that it is proper in the sense that turning this into a sensationalized story of the fall or the demise of Deion Sanders and the Colorado football team when he's basically dealing with the same exact challenges that everybody else is in college football is a tad bit that's a tad bit out of line to me. That's a little out of pocket.
He didn't take over Alabama after Saban left. You know what I mean? Like, he took over an awful program. They were terrible. They were a 1-win team before he got there.
And now you expect them to be a national title contender. You expect them to be in the college football playoff, and that's how it's supposed to be. Why? Because you took the cheese. Deion, again, as I started the segment off with, Deion has been selling you on his greatness since he was in college.
And by the way, it's not exactly like he's rolling out there 100% healthy either. I mean, the guy lost part of his foot.
He's been fighting. He's been fighting health.
His insides.
He did gain a dope-looking girlfriend, though.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he ain't. Hey, when he's
best recruit.
When he's recruiting for himself, he ain't missing. That's all.
I'm just saying, like,
hey, he ain't missing on delivering them recruits.
Whatever happens with this whole thing,
Jesus
if it ends
has
up
looked out for Deion in that regard.
If it ends up, they don't end up winning more than 4 or 5 games, and they decide they want to move on or whatnot.
So what?
Just
he sold you.
Say thank you.
He sold
Say thank you.
Yes.
Because he brought the program back to relevance, and that's really, I look at it, and I never looked at Colorado and Deion getting there as if, well, what's their win-loss record and how do they do in bowl games? I look at it as, well, are they interesting again? Yes. Would it be nice to win some games? Yes. And they did. Maybe not the big ones. He also had a Heisman Trophy winner. He had a guy come out of Colorado who was a 5th-round pick who was the story of an entire draft as well, too. All of that is to his credit, all while doing this with serious medical issues.
I'm not on no gushing over Deion either. This is my former teammate. I have a ton of respect for him, a ton of admiration. I always tell the story. My rookie year, I was out of shape coming into camp. Deion Sanders pulled me aside and conditioned with me after every practice and training camp. Deion is not the diva that people think he is. He is a very meticulous. He is a very, very regiment-oriented dude. He is a very process-driven dude, almost to the point of where you could say it's like OCD type stuff. Like, the dude is about his business. So the things that people kind of portray or experience, thinks they experience or know about him may not be very accurate. And I say this all to say, what is the ultimate goal of trying? Like, it always seems like the stories that surface about Deion Sanders are always negatively driven. What is the ultimate goal? Because at the end of the day, if your negativity leads to Deion Sanders getting fired, he don't need no money. Deion is not hurting for money. So if you get rid of him, okay, he's not coaching anymore. He gets to go off and do whatever it is, whatever else he's going to do. Probably may rest, enjoy life, could come back into media. He killed it doing that.
Yeah.
They didn't push him out. He rolled out to come coach. He could easily go back into that. What is the ultimate goal is what I always wonder when you see all of these stories, because it's like the fact that this man leans into who he is, his faith, his accomplishments, what he expects, it truly offends people. And I don't understand why Deion is so offensive to the people that are watching him.
You mentioned OCD. You ever been around somebody who had full-blown OCD?
Yes.
Okay. Let me tell you something. I used to work with this guy.
Don't we work with one?
Maybe
used to. Are you going to say used to?
Well, no, I used to work with this guy at a previous job. Who had, we're talking. This guy had heavy-duty OCD where he had to like touch the wall a certain number of times as he walked by and hold the railing a certain number of times as he walked by. And every time I'd see him, and the guy looked like Beethoven too, which was awesome.
I don't know what Beethoven looks like.
Well,
I'll just use my imagination.
So every time I'd see this guy walk, I knew he had to touch the railing a certain way to walk by. I would cut in between him and the railing just to
right
see
at that point.
Oh, it's great.
Did he stop?
Oh, yeah.
He had to stop.
Like almost went into convulsions.
Yeah, he has to stop. You disrupted his process. That ain't right, bruh.
Hey.
That's you one of them dudes. They had.
Hey, you know what?
You was growing up with your nose in the corner. That's one.
Yeah.
You were one of them dudes.
You know what? Look like Mozart. I wouldn't have done it. It is the Dan Patrick Show here on Fox Sports Radio. By the way, brought to you by True Green. Don't waste another weekend doing your lawn care yourself. Partner with the official lawn care treatment provider of the PGA Tour and get a golf course quality lawn the easy way. Sign up at truegreen.com, then sit back and relax. All right, it is the Dan Patrick Show here at Fox Sports Radio. LaVar Arrington, Jonas Knox in for Dan and the guys. Coming up next, somebody has heard your complaints, and they don't care in the NFL. That'll be yours right here on FSR. But let us talk about Miller Lite. Yes. Okay? Who doesn't love Miller Lite? I mean, there's a lot to celebrate this summer. So if you want to keep it classic with that classic can, get yourself a Miller Lite. Whether you're toasting the birth of our nation, our soccer team scoring a big goal, or just a beautiful, warm evening on the deck, it's Miller time in America. You know, the draft always feels like the start of summer for me. Hope, fresh starts, and a reason to get the guys together. And this year, the Dan Patrick Show is broadcasting live from Pittsburgh. And Miller Lite, our partner, will be there with us. And let me tell you something. As somebody who's had an ice-cold Miller Lite in Pittsburgh before, it is tasty. We'll be watching picks, debating who got it right. And I've got a Miller Lite in hand because it's just reliable. You know what you're going to get every time. Clean, crisp, easy to drink, especially when the night goes long. A true American Pilsner and the original light beer since 1975. Legendary moments start with a Miller Lite. Like, you remember back in the day, Bob Uecker? I'll be sitting in the front row. Yes! It's been a go-to for 50 years. A true American Pilsner since 1975. Miller time is always a good time. An all-American summer starts with an all-American beer, Miller Lite. Go to MillerLite.com/Patrick to find delivery options near you, or you can pick up some Miller Lite pretty much anywhere they sell beer. It's Miller time. Celebrate responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. 96 calories and 3.2 carbs per 12 ounces. Here's the latest on the drama surrounding Jalen Hurts, because there was some stuff that came out last week on ESPN where people have talked about, Jalen Hurts again, players not, maybe big fans of his style, the way he plays, his, not wanting to take risks to try and, have the offense catered towards what he wants to do as opposed to, utilizing the weapons around him, so on and so forth. Like the same old stuff we've heard about Jalen Hurts and the drama coming out of Philly for a couple of years now. And according to Jeff McClain of the Philadelphia Inquirer and also Marcus Hayes, a columnist for the Inquirer, they've said that the Eagles have used the media to try and get through to Jalen Hurts. That they've these stories that come out that this may be from the Philadelphia Eagles to try and get Jalen Hurts out of this whatever he's got going on with Philly that is rubbing people the wrong way.
That sounds horrible.
This from Jeff McClain. Quote, Jalen Hurts knows this is the last year of his guaranteed money. He knows the cat's out on some of his baggage. You've got to be able to produce. You can't be near the bottom of the league in passing 2 years in a row with the amount of talent that we have. It's not acceptable, and it's everybody saying it. From owner Jeffrey Lurie on down, everybody is on the same page. So, never mind the fact, won a Super Bowl, went to another one, they're in the playoffs every single year. Never mind all that. Let's use the media
and who
to try and
reported
get
this?
through it. Jeff McClain from the Philadelphia Inquirer.
Which means he is getting it from somebody internally, right? Wouldn't we agree on that?
Yeah.
That's 100%. Like, you're not just going to like if you're Jeff McClain, you're not going to report something random like that. Like that's coming from somebody I don't care if it's the ball boy. It's coming from somebody within the organization.
Yeah.
We'd all agree on that?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, if that's the case, man, that is some damning, that's damning, bro. How are you not an effed up, like all the way messed up organization when you're doing stuff like that? Like, that's crazy. That's your quarterback, for one. You should be guarding and protecting him like he's the crown jewels, for one.
Right.
And then for two, even if these things are true, which, because I can think back, you know, Peterson didn't really want to play him. Right? He didn't play him that much to begin with. He was trying to figure it out with other guys. And I think it brought up the conversation points of, you know, why that was, why would you go in a different direction? I think he ended up kind of losing his job off of it, right? Like he started another QB, wanted to see what that QB could do. Like, why do you do these types of things? But I still feel like ultimately the offsetting of it all is that they have gone to the Super Bowl. In both of the Super Bowls, Jalen Hurts played better than the best quarterback in all of football, and Patrick Mahomes, and split 1-1, lost 1. I think when you have that type of success, I find that hard to kind of comprehend that you would have such a hard line stance, or you would actually allow for somebody within the organization to put this out there. Because to me right now it's propaganda versus it being real life criticisms of Jalen Hurts. Why let this happen? Why not handle this internally? I don't get it.
Yeah, it's hard to speculate from the outside what exactly the issue is that they have with him or what he's doing behind the scenes. I mean, at the end of the day, this league's about winning and losing, and they're winning. You know, they're in this window now where they've built up a roster. They've won one. They've been to a couple now. And to your point, like, he's played really well in some of the biggest moments. And I understand there's been frustration if you look at the offense throughout the course of the year, especially for Eagles fans. You know, they'll be the first to tell you. A.J. Brown would be the first to tell you. That being said, you're also switching out coordinators quite frequently. I mean, some who've become a head coach and some who've been an absolute swing and a miss. So that to me makes it difficult to really understand, you know, who you can point the blame at and to point the finger to. I think, you know, if you also have a guy in Jalen Hurts who, to me, he seems very calm, very poised. He doesn't get too high, doesn't ever get too low. Maybe that rubs some guys the wrong way. Maybe, and I'm not sure how that locker room receives it. And I don't know how he conducts himself in that locker room with other guys. From all my accounts I've ever been around the young man, he seemed like a really, really good guy. I would say the most volatile person is their head coach.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I don't know how much that plays a role in all of it.
It's the Dan Patrick Show here on Fox Sports Radio. LaVar Arrington, Jonas Knox, in for Dan and the guys. Coming up a little over 15 minutes from now, we are going to get into a story that, well, not a great one, especially with the draft coming up right around the corner for somebody in the world of football. So we'll get into that for you right here on FSR. By the way, a reminder, you can watch us on YouTube at 2ProsFSR. That is at 2ProsFSR, where you can check us out and hang out with us here on YouTube. You can also check us out on the iHeartRadio app, where you can stream us wherever you happen to be. Catch us in all of our Fox Sports Radio shows live 24/7 in the new and improved iHeartRadio app. Search Fox Sports Radio in the app to stream us live all day, every day. And be sure to select Fox Sports Radio as one of your presets in the iHeart app, so it will always pop up at the top of your screen. So Roger Goodell, over the weekend, this is kind of funny. There's been some speculation that Kyle Shanahan, not exactly thrilled with the idea of the 49ers opening up the year in Australia, especially when you're opening up the year in Australia against a team that you can literally get on a flight and be there in 50 minutes in the LA Rams. And Roger Goodell over the weekend was asked about Kyle Shanahan having some concerns and some issue with the fact that the Niners got to go all the way to Australia to start their season, and he had this to say.
Coach Shanahan is enthusiastic and a great football coach, but also someone who truly understands the importance of expanding our game globally. But his job is to win. His job is to play. And I always say coaches like to play at 1 o'clock and 4 o'clock, and don't get in the way of that. So we're going to make it a great experience for the team.
Which is code for, yeah, that's cool.
Shut your ass up and get on that plane.
Anyway, it's just like, but it just, the idea, this just further points to the fact, whether it's the 18 games, whether it's the flexing, whether it's Roger Goodell and the people atop the NFL do not give a crap whether or not the players or the coaches like the scheduling or care about what it does to their body physically. If it means they can make money in a new market or in a new time slot or on a new streaming service, they're going to do it. End of story.
Are there any head coaches around from Paul Tagliabue? I know Andy Reid was coaching the Eagles, but did Goodell take over before he went to – my whole thing is –
I think he took over in 2006.
How many players – from when Roger Goodell took over are still in the league? How many coaches are head coaches that were head coaches when Roger Goodell took over?
2006.
2006? Same year?
Yeah, 2006 is when he took over as commissioner.
How many players from 2006 are still in the league?
I don't think any.
Okay.
Yeah.
So here's the reality of it. Kyle Shanahan is right. Protect your best interest as best you can, because your interest is only the interest while you are still the head coach of the team that you're the head coach of. That could change at any point in time. Roger Goodell does have a job to do, and he's doing it. And he's doing it fine and well enough where he has continued to be the leadership of this National Football League and these franchises. Business is booming. Look at the amount of money that these franchises are selling for on the open market. They're in the B's. So while you can sit there and say there are no real pros for Kyle Shanahan and the 49ers to go play in Australia, this is something that's like you look at it and it's like it's with the Rams. It's the Rams game. So now not only are you pulling them away from America and putting them in an entirely different time slot with being in Australia, but you're talking about that's a how long? That's a 40-minute, hour flight?
45, 50-minute flight from L.A. to San Francisco. And SoFi is right next to LAX.
Which is a home game for the 49ers.
Yes.
Because the 49ers take over SoFi when they play them there. So this is automatically a mental advantage, a gamesmanship advantage for the Rams going into the season. This is a divisional opponent. I just don't understand how, to me, in these moments, you don't weigh and measure out what would be a more feasible game to put in these overseas markets.
I think
that's too big of a game. That's too good of a game to put over there.
Because I look at it and I go, well, maybe the thought process was they're both West Coast teams, so you don't want to give somebody an advantage. Because I believe the flight from San Francisco to Australia is in between 14 to 16 hours, which is wild. You could get drunk 4 times on that flight and get some naps in. So I'm hoping to be on it. And if you're doing it, it's going to be with a Miller Lite. But the point is, maybe the thought process was, well, we'll send a couple of West Coast teams over there. Maybe that would make more sense, or teams in the same time zone, so that way nobody has an advantage.
East Coast team, I'll tell you that.
Because if you think about it, And there's been some conversation, and I know Sean McVay got some heat for this, and they were kind of busting his balls a little bit, but Kyle Shanahan and Matt LaFleur were making the point that, well, we think Sean McVay campaigned to have this game played in Australia because they didn't like the fact that the Niners took over SoFi every year, which in defense, and I've said this before, in defense of LA football fans, the franchise has left for 20 years. So people started shopping elsewhere. So it's going to take some time for the Rams and or the Chargers, but specifically the Rams, to really dominate. And it doesn't help that when you do win a Super Bowl, one of the politicians who's giving a speech is wearing a St. Louis Rams jersey. That doesn't help either. But if I look at this and I'm Kyle Shanahan, or even if I'm Sean McVay, I'm thinking that's not a great start to the year, man. Like that, and
if I'm Sean McVay, I don't have that opinion of it. I feel better about it if I'm McVay.
Really?
It's gamesmanship because it's an away game. It's an extra away game where you would have had to have used or looked at SoFi as an extra extended home game for the San Francisco 49ers. Let me raise another couple points for you, too, by the way. If the 49ers in this game were to lose this game and they miss the playoffs by, let's just say, one game, does this come back as a storyline connected to why going overseas in some instances are detrimental to a season?
Yeah.
That's one. Two, you do know what date this game is being played on, right? Now, I'm a first responder guy. If you know me, you know I'm very, very intense on first responders, our military, and our veterans. If you know me, you know that that's what I'm into, my family, all that stuff. Dad's a wounded warrior. You get that. This game is on what day, Jonas?
September 11th.
Why the hell are you taking America's game somewhere else and playing it on September 11th?
But it's going to be technically September 10th out here. It's September 11th there. So
I don't give a good gosh darn on the technically. Too close, too sentimental, too much value. Don't do it. Choose a different date. At least respect our country's history in this moment and do it on a different date.
Well, but out here in the States where I think that date matters the most, it's September 10th. It's September 11th in Australia. It's Friday morning. Out here, it's Thursday evening.
Yeah. You heard me. I hear what you're saying. I hear what you're saying.
I think that
too close.
Any international game, if you're going to put teams out of their rhythm, and look, you and Brady have talked about this before. And I've heard guys like Brian Urlacher said, look, Monday night's cool. The primetime games are cool. If it were up to me, I'd play every game at noon Central Time. Every game at noon. So at least you know going into it. I think every international game that they send teams over to play should be built around a bye week. Everyone. Because it makes it more – because then, look, rest-wise, health-wise, flight back-wise, all of that stuff, it doesn't get you out of your rhythm. And if those guys want to hang out in whatever country they're visiting for a little while, you'll see UFC fighters and boxers do this all the time. They'll go fight internationally or someplace like that, and they'll hang out after the fight for a little bit just to enjoy and take in the sights and sounds of a new place. The fact that you're starting out your year on a 15-hour flight or whatever it is from the West Coast to Australia, and it's against a team that you could be playing at their doorstep in 45 minutes on a plane, that's the part that I don't really understand. I don't get it. It doesn't make any – I understand the financial aspect of it, but from a scheduling standpoint, I just don't understand.
Again, it comes back down – and I'm standing on September 11th, by the way. Like, you're not going to talk me out of it. You ain't going to hit me with it's the 10th and this and that. I'm standing on the fact that close to September 11th, on September 11th, that should be a game that is on American soil. I'm standing on that. It's America's game. It should be being played in America at that point in time. I'm standing on that. But here's another issue that I take with these games and the expansion of how many games they're trying to have overseas during the course of a season is that we have continued to have the conversation of how important football became to American people, what it represented during war times, what it represented during the transition from, radio to television production, what it looked like, what our personality as a country was built on. It was built on really the brands and the personalities that we saw in the National Football League. It was and became America's pastime. Took the throne away from baseball. And to turn this game into such a corporately driven game where you're taking the game away from the people who made it what it is now today, the behemoth that it has become, to me, I find it to be a tad bit disingenuous in terms of how I view them moving forward, because you are now proving and showing that this isn't about the family. This is about the dollar. And while it was probably about the dollar when it was about the family, your business model centered around the game being about the family when people like me were growing up. It was something that you did as a family. You could do it because it was right here, right in front of you. You could go, you could afford it, you could get food, you could take the bus, or you could drive, you could tailgate, you met people, talk to people. On God, I saw people with my family that would talk on Sunday. And you see some of them same people in the grocery store on Monday, Tuesday, no words. That was the day and age I grew up in. No words. Sunday, sup, bro? Steelers, baby. The curtain. Let's get it today. Da. You want a hot dog? You want a link? Hey, you want a kibasi? Like, Tuesday, Monday, crickets.
Yeah.
It brought everybody together. Now it's not that anymore, Jonas.
Yeah, and I also think, think about the fans of these, season ticket holders, fans who have, those attached with them. Now all of a sudden they lose a home game because it goes to Australia.
Correct.
There's that as well too.
Correct.
And maybe they have first. I don't know how the season ticket stuff works in the NFL. Maybe they have first right of refusal on those tickets if they want it. But man, maybe not everybody, in and around El Segundo wants to get on a plane for close to 20 hours to go fly to Australia to go get run over by a kangaroo and watch Matt Stafford throw 1-yard touchdowns to Devontae Adams. Maybe they don't want to be a part of that whole journey.
Kangaroo Jack in the building.
So yeah, I look at it and I go, it's a strange decision by the NFL, but if they can make a buck, they can make a buck, despite Kyle Shanahan's complaints. It is the Dan Patrick Show here on Fox Sports Radio. LaVar, Arrington, Jonas, Knox in for Dan and the guys. Coming up next here, we've got some information, and it is not the good kind for one person in the world of football, and that's yours right here on FSR. But let's talk about our friends at Panini America, the official trading card and NFT partner of the Dan Patrick Show. Panini delivers a premier collecting experience with the most coveted cards and stickers across FIFA, WNBA, NWSL, and more. With all the countries now set, the official FIFA World Cup 2026 sticker collection is available for pre-order now at PaniniAmerica.net. The tradition of ripping sticker packs and trading to complete the set before the first match is back. Panini is also the exclusive trading card partner of the WNBA and now also the NWSL. So if you're following the meteoric rise of women's sports, Panini is the place to be for digital collectors. For the first time, Panini is letting you bridge your digital cards to the blockchain and buy and sell them on OpenSea. Real ownership, new marketplace, and a whole new way to collect. Check it out at nft.paniniamerica.net or OpenSea today. Visit PaniniAmerica.net or download the Panini Direct app to get collecting today. Troy Aikman was on the Rodeo podcast, because of course he was. And he was talking about his theory as to why, maybe the current NFL with the injuries running rampant, especially early in the season, might have had something to do with the way things have changed from a practice standpoint in the offseason.
Whenever they negotiate the CBA, the owners tend to always win on the financial side of things, and then the players say, well, all right, then we're not going to practice as long, or we're not going to practice as often. So then they tend to get concessions when it comes to how much time they're actually at facilities. And I think the only ones who don't have a voice in those negotiations are the coaches. They kind of have to wait till the dust settles and say, all right, just how often do we get them?
Yeah.
But some of it is, too, that we see is a lot of the reasons I think that we see so many injuries, especially early in the year, is a lot of soft tissue injuries, a lot of muscle pulls and things of that nature, is the players, they're just not able to train the way that we once did, and they're not able to callous their bodies as easily. And then you get and it doesn't, not that they're not training hard and all that, but it's different training on your own as opposed to then all of a sudden you're on the football field going through football movements. It taxes you a little bit more.
So take that, Prisco, who says that players train too much now, and that's why it's leading to injuries. All right, so chew on that, Prisco, because apparently they're not practicing enough in training camp, according to Troy Aikman.
I think there's differences. I think what Pete is saying is correct. I mean, guys don't give themselves much time to rest their bodies anymore. It's like workout culture is a very real thing. Specific training is a very, very real thing, not just for quarterbacks. It's for every position. And you're doing these training sessions, when you can, when you're not in session as a pro or while you're in college. I mean, these guys are actually going out on their own time and finding the time to work with, personal and private coaches and different sessions. So I think there's something to that. I think what Pete said, there's something to that. But I think there's also something to be said about practicing hard. And I believe that that's what Troy is alluding to here is practicing hard. You don't practice as hard as much anymore. And I tend to lean on the side of if you're not having full contact, at least thudding up or engaging and disengaging of blocks and different things like that, then you're setting yourself up for injuries because your body is not. They always say you can't prepare yourself for 4 quarters of football unless you're playing 4 quarters of football. And so the closest you can get to it is when you have those practices where you do the periods where you're having physical contact, the 9-on-7s, the half lines, the different things like that, where contact is a part of your practice. I think that they've legislated or kind of work that aspect out of it. You're more in tune to wanting to see your guys be healthy coming through practices and coming through training camps and mini camps and OTAs, rather than having moments where guys are actually putting their pads on one another to get their reps in.
I think it's such a tough discussion or argument to make because, to your point, the business aspect of things is guys will get fired if guys are getting hurt practicing, right? If it's not for the real thing. So you can wrap them up in bubble wrap, do a bunch of walkthroughs, not do anything where there's contact, full speed, just to say, hey, we got to the games healthy. But is that really what prepares them best for that? And, I look at the callus on your hands, when you're a heavy weightlifter, if you work with your hands a lot and a lot of physical labor, it's like you have to go through, usually ripping up the palms of your hands.
It's the Dan Patrick Show here on Fox Sports Radio. He's LaVar Arrington. I'm Jonas Knox. In for Dan and the guys. Coming up, top of next hour. We'll call it a little over 10 minutes from now. If you need a little red ass in your life, the one and only Pete Prisco is your guy. He will be joining us here, senior NFL columnist for CBS Sports. Always a fun conversation, some ball busting, et cetera, with the great Pete Prisco here again. Top of next hour, a little over 10 minutes from now. By the way, if you've missed any of today's show and you want to catch the podcast, just search 2 Pros wherever you get your podcast. Right after the show, today's pod will be posted. Be sure to follow it. Rate it 5 stars. You can even provide a review. Again, just search 2 Pros wherever you get your podcast. You'll find today's full show and a best-of version posted right after we get off the air. You can also check us out on YouTube at 2 Pros FSR on YouTube if you'd like. One of the guys that we're going to ask Pete Prisco about is Ruben Bain Jr., who's one of the top prospects in the NFL draft, first-round pick, et cetera. There was a story that came out a couple of days ago that it was the first time I had heard the story, but in 2024, Bain was cited for careless driving for the accident that occurred at about 4 a.m. local time in Florida. And according to this, the crash report alleges that Bain was driving a 2021 Land Rover SUV that had 3 other passengers in the car, one of which was 22-year-old Destiny Betts. Bain's vehicle rear-ended another car, veered into a concrete barrier, then ricocheted into another barrier before coming to a rest on the shoulder of the highway. Destiny Betts was taken to Ryder Trauma Center in Miami, according to the Read Optional. It reported that she was in a coma for nearly 3 months before she died from her injuries in June of 2024. And so while Bain was cited at the time of the incident, charges were dropped prior to her death. And in his statement given to the Read Optional, Betts' family called the crash, quote, a tragic accident, and they wish Mr. Bain the best as he continues his life and career. So he was entering his sophomore season at the time of the accident. Mm-hmm. I had not heard of this story before reading about this over the past, 24, 48 hours. But apparently, and according to CBS, teams in the NFL knew about this. Mm-hmm. So they knew about this report. And I look at it and I go, and we kind of mentioned this briefly yesterday, but I don't know, since teams know about this, whether or not it's going to drop him on draft boards or if there's going to be some teams that maybe shy away because of this. But it does, I guess, point to the fact that the NFL draft, if you've got a flaw, if you've got a blemish, some that are fair, some that are unfair, through this process, man, they do some digging. And they find some things out, and they will figure out what it is. And look, some of this stuff is manufactured. This clearly is not. And so I do wonder what the narrative is on him and how it's changed going into this draft.
I don't think it changes at all. It doesn't make his arms longer. It doesn't change what he's done in his workouts. And so when you look at the gravity of this situation, one has nothing to do with the other, because it doesn't appear that it was a irresponsible car accident that took place. It was what it was, a car accident. They didn't find any drugs or alcohol in his system. The charges of careless or whatever type of driving they charged him with, those charges were dropped. So I don't think that there's any bearing on his draft stock and his status based upon this information that they've already had for quite some time.
Yeah, because we heard similar stuff about Jalen Carter when that came out, when he was coming out of the draft. So
it's a little different.
Yeah. So now we'll see.
There's a little different.
It is LaVar, Arrington, Jonas, Knox in for the Dan Patrick Show right here on Fox Sports Radio.
We are Fox Sports.
It's two pros and a cup of Joe, Fox Sports Radio.
You ready? Yes!
No pain, no gain, and I have dished out a lot of pain.
I played the game. The rules are still the same.
Hey, America, you want some sports? We got it for you.
Two pros and a cup of Joe is three guys talking sports, having some fun, and a great way to wake up in the morning.
Hey, listen, there's a lot of stats for us to get through right now.
We're here to break it all down for you.
I always hear that defense wins championships, but LaVar, I can't help but notice that the W-2s for the quarterback look a lot higher.
That's because we're worth it.
You gotta be kidding. It's just one of those shows that gives you that feeling of, I'm talking to my friend anywhere you may be, a sports bar, a living room. As different as we are, it works.
When he scores his first touchdown, what will the celebration be?
It might just be a spike.
Yes.
He's going to derobe first.
Jeez.
They set their wedding date on the day of the Super Bowl, and the groom's trying to move the wedding now to get out of it so he can go see the game. Is he in the wrong here?
Let that man use them tickets.
Unbelievable.
We're like those three best friends that grew up together.
We've developed a chemistry.
In case you missed it, LA's finest, that's right, everybody's favorite. Apparently had a few too many drinks last night. This guy's got a little bit of an issue here, huh?
Call a taxi.
I hear he has a weird infatuation with elevator rides.
Here we go.
We're three brothers and we look identical.
Oh, wow. Really?
I totally agree.
Yeah. Wrap it up, let's go.
My guys.
Yes! Two pros.
And a cup of Joe.
More sports, more fun.
For the 8th seed in the East out west. Suns play the Trailblazers in Phoenix for the 7th seed, and the winner gets a date with Victor Wembanyama and the 2nd-seeded Spurs in the opening round. On the ice, Sabres skate past the Blackhawks 5-1 to clinch the Atlantic Division title. Sabres coach Lindy Ruff on the season.
This last 4 months has been so much fun coaching this group that, you hope to get the team in the right place, but these guys have exceeded my expectations.
The Flyers beat the Hurricanes in a shootout to clinch a playoff spot for the first time since 2020. And the Kings are playoff bound after knocking off the Kraken 5-3. In baseball, Dodgers shut out the Mets 4-0, sending New York to their 6th straight loss. Mets haven't crossed home plate in 20 straight innings. Orioles scored 8 unanswered runs. Rally beat the Diamondbacks 9-7 in Baltimore. That's sports. I'm Ronza Moss.
And away we go. It is the Dan Patrick Show here on Fox Sports Radio. He's LaVar Arrington. I'm Jonas Knox. In for Dan and the guys. You can hear us weekday mornings before the Dan Patrick Show, 6 a.m. Eastern Time, 3 o'clock Pacific, alongside Brady Quinn on a little something we do called Two Pros and a Cup of Joe. But LaVar and I will be taking you all the way up until the end of this hour. If you're listening on the podcast, we appreciate you doing so. You can find us on the iHeartRadio app. You can find us on hundreds of affiliates all across the country. You can also watch along on YouTube at Two Pros FSR. That is at Two Pros FSR, where you can take part in the show there. And right now, we welcome in a dear friend of ours. You hear him weekday mornings with us on Two Pros and a Cup of Joe every Tuesday morning. He is the one and only Pete Prisco, senior NFL columnist for CBS Sports HQ analyst, and you can get him on X if you want some of that smoke at Prisco CBS. Pete, good morning.
Hi, Pete.
You guys, no more riding on buses. You got called up to the big league. Huh?
Imagine that, huh?
It's amazing.
People carrying our people carrying our bags and everything. It's awesome.
It's unreal. I mean, you can't complain about that. I can tell you that. Where's Brady though? I mean, he decided he wasn't coming.
Yeah, I guess he didn't get the call.
Dang.
I don't know, man. He was with us yesterday. Yeah,
I don't get involved in that one. I just do my job, Pete.
Pete, I heard you said that they were so underwhelmed with this performance yesterday that they didn't bring him back today. Is that what you were getting at?
Oh, gosh.
No, that's not. No, that's what LaVar just said. Wow, LaVar, taking time.
I just said I stay out of it. Don't put my name on that.
Pete, not to start off on a bit of a downer because the story is disappointing, but I'm curious to see, what do you think the news of the crash that took place in 2024, where do you think that puts Ruben Bain Jr. when it comes to his draft stock amongst teams around the league?
Probably has no bearing whatsoever. And look, it's a tragedy. Let's start there. But every team in the league knew about that, and they knew what the situation was. And so I in talking to some people I know, I don't think it's going to be an issue. Look, the family has to deal with that the rest of his life. He has to deal with that the rest of his life. But in terms of where it impacts his draft status, I don't think it does.
Yeah, I tend to agree with that. Listen, Pete, I hate to do this because it's been discussed ad nauseum, but it is probably the biggest story that's continuing to persist out there. We talked about Mike Vrabel not doing his press conference on April 13th. Obviously, an admission or omission was that it had already been agreed upon in March that it would only be Wolf that would do the press conference. So making sure we're correct on that. I don't think it changes the circumstances of what's going on around the situation. I guess my question for you, Pete, is do you think, even though you agreed that, or it was put out there, that was a Wolf press conference, that maybe Mike Vrabel should have made himself available to take some conversation questions on the pre-draft, as well as quiet down the conversations that were surrounding what took place in Sedona?
It's interesting you bring it up that way, LaVar, because I remember back in the day when I covered Tom Coughlin, and I used to tell him when something happened, address it right away and make it go away. And, yeah, it might not go away entirely, but if you come out and you address it, and then it kind of cools and it goes away. If you don't address it, it continues to be a nonstop story. And it's going to go on and on and on. And so I'm with you. I mean, I think Mike Vrabel, look, he doesn't owe the public anything, but he owes an explanation in terms of his organization and his players. And, I think, the rest of the organization as well. So I agree with you. Look, the media, we sit here and we judge and we do this, we do that, and everything
else. Our jobs.
But, right. But the reality is he doesn't owe us anything. But he owes a lot of people, including his own family, if it's true. He owes a lot of explanation. And that's the first, number one priority is that's indeed true, then that's where he's got to come out and explain it. But, again, we don't know the situation. We don't know what went on. But I'm a big proponent of the sooner you get to it, the better off you are. And so I agree with you 100%.
Is it fair to say, though, Pete, that the initial statement from Mike Vrabel and Diana Rossini that maybe you didn't believe that completely? Is that fair to say? Because when the initial statement read to me like you're going to need more than that in this situation.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know the specifics of it, but it just look, the pictures are damning. If you want to, you can say what you want about it. The pictures are damning for no matter who it is, and so I think they do have some explaining to do. But again, that's not for us to sit and judge. That's for us to sit and we'll judge it privately, but I think publicly, I think they need to address it more so than anybody else.
Yeah, that's what I felt like. Just address it. Like, if you're going to give a statement, you're going to give a statement. No matter when you go on air and people see you face to face and hear your voice, you're going to have to answer those questions. So why not do it now? I guess some people say let the wound heal a little bit before you jump in on it. But let me switch gears on you, Pete. Let me ask you about the CJ Stroud, them doing the 5th year, option and fulfilling him and putting 25.9 in guaranteed for what he's got going on. How do you interpret this move? Was it a good move for the Texans? What do you feel like it represents? I feel like not giving him just a bigger contract altogether says that they believe in him to a certain degree, and that belief is connected to we believe in D'Amico Ryans to a certain degree, but maybe we need to see if this combination can actually pull through to be elite again, or do we have to think about going into, a different phase of what we're doing with our team? What's your take on it?
They need to see more from him. I mean, and look, all you got to do is look at Tua and see what happens when you rush a contract. And you don't want to get caught in that situation. So when I look at this, it looks like one of those situations where they want to see more from the quarterback, and it makes sense.
Is the head coach connected to that wanting to see more, or is he safe?
I think he's safe.
Okay.
I think he's safe. And by the way, they got other deals to do. Will Anderson's deal, I hear they want to do Alshire, so they want to get his deal done. So, I mean, yeah, they want to see more from the quarterback. And if you were the Texans, based on what you saw last year, wouldn't you want to see more?
Yeah, you have to see more. But I just wonder how much of that is connected to the stability at the head coaching position, because I actually believe CJ Stroud's success or lack thereof is directly tied to if D'Amico Ryans is like some way, somehow finding himself on the hot seat as the head coach.
No, I don't think it's that.
Okay.
I really don't.
Right.
I mean, they've had a lot of turnover. The offensive coordinator changed last year. Not only that, the offensive line's been a disaster. And yeah, I mean, who's responsible for that? That's not D'Amico Ryans. If you really wanted to judge that team based on D'Amico Ryans, you just look to the defense and you say, okay, well, yeah, the defense is one of the best in the league. It's not the best in the league. So,
unfortunately, he's not a defensive coordinator. He's the head coach.
But he's a defensive guy. You get that.
I do. I 100% get that. And that defense is amazing. But you do have to pay attention to the two other phases of the game as well.
I agree.
And that quarterback position, it generally has that type of weight where if it doesn't work out and you spent the type of draft capital on that pick, that could be connected to a GM or a coach or both.
Well, it's probably the GM more than anything. But I will say this. If they don't make the playoffs this year, then I think the heat is certainly on D'Amico Ryans. I don't think there's any question about that.
Pete Prisco, senior NFL columnist for CBS Sports HQ analyst, joining us here on Fox Sports Radio. You can get him on X at Prisco CBS. LaVar, Arrington, Jonas, Knox in for the Dan Patrick Show. What do you make of, there was a report that came out, he has since pushed back on it kind of on social media, Ian Rappaport saying that the Jaguars plan to make Travis Hunter a full-time cornerback and an occasional contributor on offense. And I ask you this question. If knowing now what we know, did the Jaguars make a mistake taking him and trading away the capital that they did to get him last year in the draft?
Well, let me start with the report because, I put that out last year during the season that he was going to be a full-time cornerback, number one cornerback, and spot in at wide receiver more than just spot in. He's going to play a lot more than you think at wide receiver.
So Ian Rappaport's a thief, is what you're saying?
No, he's not a thief. I mean, look, Cam Wolf put it out, and I told Cam Wolf, I said, look, if you go back and listen to our shows, I said it on there at least 3 or 4 times. I mean, the reality is he's going to be their number one corner, and he's going to be a really good corner. In fact, I think he has a chance to be special. As far as wide receiver, he's going to be probably third down, goal line situations. It's not going to just be gimmicked up plays. He's going to play wide receiver. That's why he pushed back on that. And so did they give up too much for him? Look at the top of this draft. If you're getting the number one corner in this, he would be the number one corner in this draft based on his ability to play the position. You see these corners, the kid from LSU, Delane's going to go in the top 15. The McCoy, the kid coming off an ACL, is going to go in the top 15. So the answer to your question is you can judge that in a couple of years more than you can judge it now. On the surface, did they give up too much? I mean, throwing in the 4 might maybe throw it a little bit in that direction. But right now, I'd say it's a trade when you look at this draft that I certainly don't think they give up too much.
We were talking about the 49ers and Kyle Shanahan's just not happy about having to travel to Australia. I brought up the point, Jonas didn't like the point. He kind of balked at it and said it's the 10th, not the 11th. I just feel like the 11th, September 11th, game should not be being played anywhere but in America if you're considered to be America's game connected to the sentimental value. And maybe let me take back what I'm messing with Jonas about because it's too serious a question. But how does that – yeah, no worries. How do you view that, the fact that the game is scheduled for September 11th in Australia? Have you even taken a look at that at this point?
Absolutely not. I had not. No, I had not.
Do you have any opinion towards it?
It is on the 10th, though, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the 10th out here. It's the 11th.
It's the 11th there.
Yeah, no,
that's too close to me. If you ask me, that's too close.
Well, what are you not going to play on the 12th either?
No, not abroad. You could play on the 10th, 11th, and 12th for all I care. Just do it on American soil.
Yeah, LaVar, I think you're creating something out of nothing, to be honest with you.
You think?
Well, that's sports radio, Pete. I mean, what are we supposed to do?
I don't think that's creating something out of nothing at all. That the game falls on the 11th of September. Take a second to think about it. I don't think that's making something out of it at all. I think it should be more of a something, if anything.
No, I don't think it's that big a deal.
Okay,
but I will say
everybody has opinions.
Traveling all that time to play a divisional game,
I don't get it.
That one makes no sense to me. But
that's a storyline.
As we see the expansion to 18 games and more international games, you're going to see more and more of this. By the way, get ready for it because there's going to be a lot more games overseas coming up, and the NFL knows that. They're expanding their brand. They want to make more money, and it's all about the bottom line. And you know that they want to make more money, and the way to do that is expand the international audience.
And I also wonder this because we were talking about you plan all these international games, and I think a flight from the West Coast out there is 15 hours or something along those lines. Man, to start out your year with that, following training camp and all that, it feels like if you're going to plan international games, it should be surrounding a bye week. There should be a bye week attached to it, so at least you're not dealing with jet lag or whatever. But you're starting off the season with that. I can't imagine that either coach, whether it's Shanahan, McVay, anybody involved, is thrilled with the opportunity to do that.
Yeah, but don't forget, Jonas, they get the week off, after this preseason, they get a week off nowadays. Don't forget about that.
Yeah, but are they gonna have enough time out there to really take in the sights and sounds? Shop around a little bit. In Australia.
No. But it's a business trip. You go play a game. That's why you go on vacation with your family in the off season. You don't go for a vacation. You're going there to play a game. Look, I can't, as somebody who can't stand being on planes with people because people are so rude. At least they're flying with guys they know, and you can say, "Hey, dude, sit your ass down." You know what I mean? You can't. If you do that on a plane nowadays, somebody's going to fight with you. So I just 15 hours on a plane, way too long to go play a football game. But I understand it when you're trying to increase the brand overseas.
The American family just doesn't matter as much anymore.
Yeah.
They can't afford to do these things. Like, you can't be a part of it. It's expensive to go to the games here. It's difficult to afford going to the games as a regular working single or two-parent home family to begin with. Now you're moving the goalpost even more, and you're going abroad and saying that your participation doesn't matter as much. We're trying to go here versus be, in a place where you can afford to be there. I think that's the biggest lead. The biggest lead here is that
it's always been that way, LaVar.
Not always. It has not always been that way.
I couldn't afford to go to a football game when I was a kid.
Yes, you could.
No, I couldn't.
How much was a game when you were a kid?
But I went to one game. I went to my first game in Franklin Field, and friends took us.
You're older than me, Pete, and it was 100% affordable to go to a game when I was growing up.
You don't realize, like, $3 was like a big salary back then. You're talking about different times.
I was there. What do you mean? I know you could get a soda for 25 cents. I was there.
You weren't there in the 60s and 70s.
No, not at all. No, not that. But I understand inflation. I mean, it was affordable to go to games when I was a kid is the point I'm making. Like, it was probably maybe more affordable, maybe less affordable in the 60s. I don't know because that's a different time. Like, that is a very different time. But in the 80s, in the 80s and the 90s, it was affordable to go to games. It was affordable for a family to go see a football game. That was what they built it on. No, they built it on.
They built it on TV. I hate to tell you that.
No, that is very true. It is. TV is very true. But it was also filling up the stadiums with their fans.
I mean, Pete, wouldn't you rather watch it at home anyways? Like
me personally, yes.
Yeah.
You're not a real fan then. You guys sound like cornballs, man.
No, it's a TV sport. It's a great TV sport. And going to the game, you got to go there. You got to park. You got to deal with idiots. You got to have drunk people around you. I mean, come on. And don't get me wrong.
You're throwing out a lot of conclusions that could be falling in the false-based category, Pete.
Good for you, Pete. You know that world.
I've been that guy before. I went to the Rose Bowl in 1986 when Arizona State played Michigan, and we beat Harbaugh. And Jim Harbaugh was the quarterback at Michigan, Mr. Efficiency. And I was, with a bunch of guys just creating all kinds of havoc. And ASU upset them. And Bo Schembechler went to 1-7 in the Rose Bowl. And as I'm leaving the stadium, I start singing, Schembechler's 1-7, Schembechler's 1-7, Schembechler's 1-7 in the Rose Bowl.
So you're one of them belligerent dudes. You're one of them belligerent fans. Hey,
Some
Pete,
old lady tried to push me down the steps.
You chose the wrong show to let me own you. I owned you on two different conversations here, man. I think you need to go back over.
You didn't own me on anything.
You need to go back over 9/11.
Pete, let us hear it.
Come on, sing it,
Come
Pete.
on, Pete.
Ready? Schembechler's 1-7, Schembechler's 1-7, Schembechler's
You imagine just a butchered Pete Prisco.
I mean, he sounds butchered right now. Dang, Pete.
Isn't that great? Right to the tune of Hail to the Victors. It was good. Perfect.
I love it, actually.
Pete, let me ask you this before I let you go. Obviously, the draft coming up here. You are a draft expert, insider. Any surprising move near the top of the draft that maybe some people wouldn't expect?
No, I think you might see some team try and trade up, though. Maybe they have their eye on if whichever pass rusher falls down a little bit. But, by the way, my better than team is out today. So I've been doing that for 16, 17 years. Guys I think are better than the scouts. And guys who have been captains of that team in the past, like Levante David, Grady Jarrett,
Flex,
Jason Pierre-Paul.
That's a good one.
And the captain of the team this year is R. Mason Thomas from Oklahoma. Watch him. Guy can rush the passer. He can rush the passer.
I would
He
have
should
put
be a top
Styles.
15 pick.
I'm putting Styles as the captain on your team.
I love Styles, but he's going to get drafted too high, by the way.
Too high for that? Okay, all right.
Yeah,
that's fair.
I love Styles. I think Styles might end up being the best defensive player
Out of all of them. Yes,
Yes.
I agree.
Because you like you've been talking a lot about rounds 2 through 5. That you believe
Okay,
are
2
gonna
through
be.
5. Okay, all right, that's fair.
All right, see, there you go. That's what I'm talking about right there. Pete, always appreciate it. Thanks so much for hanging out with us.
The fans and the country, Pete. That's all I'm gonna tell you
and
on
you
the
can,
Dan Patrick Show.
Pete, will you tweet out?
TV game.
Pete, will you
Get out of here?
Pete,
will
will you be tweeting out a link to the Better Than team?
I will. For
Okay,
sure.
there it
And
is.
I'm
So get
getting
it
ready to go on CBS Sports HQ right now to talk about it.
Oh,
All right,
nice.
So there he is. Get him
Have
on
fun,
X
Pete.
at Prisco CBS. He is Pete Prisco, senior NFL columnist for CBS Sports HQ analyst, and our good buddy here on Fox Sports Radio. What
were you gonna say, Pete?
What was he gonna
You
say?
was trying to get one last word? What you was gonna say, Pete?
It's too
Did you
bad.
hang up?
You know what's
Oh,
great?
he's
You know
on
what's great about Prisco? When normally during the week, because he'll call and it's a lot earlier, he's on his house line.
And
He's
he
got an
hangs
old school
up.
house line. You can hear him hang up.
He hangs
You can
up
physically hear
the
him
phone.
hang up.
Yeah, he does.
It's just tremendous. All right. We are brought to you by Flex Steel. Because if you've got trouble sleeping, let me introduce you to Z-Cliner, the revolutionary recliner designed by Flex Steel. The Z-Cliner was engineered with restful sleep in mind, making it an ideal bed alternative. A healthy life starts with a healthy night's sleep. Visit zcliner.com/Dan Patrick today to find Z-Cliner at a store near you. All right, so coming up next here, we've got an update on a superstar in the world of sports, and it ain't good. We'll tell you what it is here on FSR. But you know what matters? Tires. They're the only part of your vehicle that touches the road, and they're responsible for everything: acceleration, braking, steering, and handling. So tread confidently with new tires from Tire Rack. Whether you know exactly what you want or you're looking for expert recommendation, Tire Rack makes it easy. You're going to get fast, free shipping, free road hazard protection, and convenient installation options, including mobile installation, where they bring the installation to you, to your home, to your office, or anywhere in between. And of course, the best selection, including the full line of Firestone tires. And they don't just sell tires, they test them on the road and on their test track. Learn how the tires you want tackle evasive maneuvers, drive and stop in the rain, or just handle your everyday commute. So go to TireRack.com/Dan to see their Firestone test results, tire ratings, and consumer reviews, and be sure to check out all the current special offers. That's TireRack.com/Dan. TireRack.com, the way tire buying should be. There was some photos that came out.
Damn.
And an article from the New York Post.
It was just, man, come on, man. It was coincidental.
That showed Mike Vrabel, head coach of the Patriots, Diana Rossini, reporter for The Athletic, hanging out on a rooftop in Sedona. And pictures of them holding hands. What
They
appeared
weren't
to be
like
hands.
holding hands.
Yeah, they were interlocked.
They were talking. It was
What was
like
it, a test of strength? They were holding
I mean-
hands.
All right, VAR, let me put it this way.
Okay.
We have not held no one's held hands like that for as long as we've worked together with any other female that I've ever witnessed. All right.
I'm not getting involved in this one.
Why not?
I get
Because
that.
I'm not a hypocrite. I'm not going to be a hypocrite.
Here's what I'd say about the whole situation. Even if it is innocent on both sides of it, it still looks bad. And you've got to know that it's going to look bad given the situation that you're both in, given Diana Rossini's reported, rumored history of things.
Background, yeah, her background.
What do you mean?
It just looks
it goes
bad.
back to DC.
And yeah,
Let's go back to DC. I was there. I was a then reporter. Oh well, I was a radio host in DC during that time.
So you can break it down.
I mean, very well,
Seems
actually.
like you're missing a couple letters on that word. But.
I'm a Diana Rossini fan, though. I'm not gonna poo-poo on her.
I'm a fan of both people.
Yeah, I'm a fan of both of them.
You could talk about this objectively because that's our job, but you can also say, like, come on, man. Like, that's just, it's a bad look all the way around.
Let me see your thong.
Now, hey,
baby. That thong, 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 thong. I love it when the booty goes. I love it when the booty goes. That thong, thong. I mean, they were in the pool.
Yeah, I mean, they were, they hung out in the hot tub together. They were laying out by the pool.
I mean, that's the best way to get some, like, in an industry where not telling the truth, avoiding the truth is the truth. That's just how coaches are. So what better way to get a coach to be comfortable enough, or a GM, or an owner, or a player, or the trainer, cheerleader. Did I miss anybody? What better way in this culture to get someone to relax and tell you what you need them to tell you?
Now,
get them in a relaxing environment.
There was a couple of quotes from Mike Vrabel and Diana Rossini in regards to this. Mike Vrabel told the Post, quote, "These photos show a completely innocent interaction, and any suggestion otherwise is laughable. This doesn't deserve any further response." Well played. That is well played.
What do you mean?
Well, I'm
played.
just
He's
like,
just
hey,
keeping it real.
I'm not gonna give
say
this
that
any credibility.
Oh, hell.
I'm not gonna give this any credibility.
Lorena, you would say that?
Yeah, jump in here.
You would say that.
Yeah, you'd completely dismiss it.
So, okay,
100%.
So
he's going to lose his wife if he doesn't.
I mean, it's not always that cut and dry in 2026.
Yeah.
You
think it looks that damning?
When you're a viral sensation of being like a cheater, yes, I think it can be that damning. 100%.
Oh, no, it
especially
can
when
be.
there's photos.
Oh, come on.
It can
Do you
be.
see their
He didn't have her on the hood of the car.
Do you see
Let's
their
relax
embrace,
here.
though? She's around his waist. He's around the shoulders.
Well,
it
he's
looks
tall.
very...
He's tall.
You
he's
could do
way
a
taller than
a shoulder
her.
hug, like a side hug. That would be more acceptable. But it looks a little too intimate. It does.
You
it
got
looks very
some
close. It looks
nerve.
very close.
It looks too intimate.
It
You are the
does.
intimacy judge.
Yes, I am.
Court is in session. The intimacy level is way too high here.
All right. Can we break this?
It's not even a video. It's just photos.
That's why a picture speaks 1,000 words. Can we break it down, though? So why don't you go back to the history to DC?
Yeah.
Because that kind of leads people to speculate, too. And it's also partially what makes this feel like there's more there. So tell us when you were, a decade ago?
It's been
11
a while.
years, however long ago it was?
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah,
tell
us about Scott McLuhan.
McLuhan. That's his name. McLuhan. That's it. I'm gonna stop right there. I mean, there were reports and there were rumors. There were rumors
all right.
that there were
Jonas, read the tweets.
There were
Read the
sexual
tweets.
favors being exchanged for information. I mean,
from memory, I don't have the tweets, the exact tweets pulled up.
Have sexual relations with that woman.
it was a big story in D.C. because the wife got involved.
She doesn't sound like that. It is the Dan Patrick Show here on Fox Sports Radio.
No. Patty is on. I just work around some straight weirdos. Man.
LaVar Arrington,
You're
Jonas
number
Knox.
one on the list.
I'm the number one weirdo?
Yes.
Hey.
I can't believe y'all, man.
That's a compliment.
Got them cats on 9/11. I can't believe y'all underplaying that. I'm just confused. Maybe I'm.
So The NFL's playing.
That's just strange to me.
In Australia, it's September 11th in Australia. It's September 10th here.
What if, again, like I asked you off air, what if somebody who is on the staff of one of those franchises, what if somebody who's playing for one of those teams on that franchise was impacted by 9/11?
But there's been games being played in and around 9/11 for years.
Here.
Yeah, but
here,
but it's
or
not,
abroad.
But it's not 9/11.
Name one game where on 9/11 the game was played abroad.
But it's not 9/11 here. It's 9/10.
But those people that are participating in the game are playing on 9/11.
I get it, but
you don't get it. Like I said, some people like pay attention to little things like that a little bit more. To me, that just means a little bit more to me. I personally. Like, say, for instance, my son was playing on a team that was playing abroad on 9/11 there. That would bother me, and I'm pretty certain that would bother my son. Just knowing our history, our connection to all of that, I'm pretty certain he would be. I'm pretty certain there's going to be people that are on those teams that there's somebody that's going to be bothered by the idea that we're playing abroad on 9/11. Like, 9/11 happened a really long time ago, but the one thing that you can't ever have take place is lose the feeling of what 9/11 felt like. You can't ever lose the feeling of what that represented and what that meant to our entire country and how that impacted us as an entire country.
I don't think anybody has lost that feeling. I know I
think that's a terrible misstep to actually be that close to it, and for it to be on 9/11. If we want to count technicalities, we could use it as a technicality. I don't see it as a technicality. The fact that it falls on 9/11, that they're playing in a different place. When we call football the NFL, we call football America's game. It's America's sport. That now creates, to me, that creates a contradiction. Maybe it isn't America's sport. Maybe it's just a sport that America created. That's all. And listen, I'm not trying to be this big conspiracy theorist. All I'm saying is, as a simple man that lives here and considers myself an American, and all the things that we talk about that are divisive and separate us, I can tell you there's one moment in time that we can definitively say that we were all united, and that was 9/11. And it's synonymous with a football season. It's synonymous with football because it happened during football season. So I don't think I'm overthinking it at all. I think people may be underthinking it.
I'm not. I haven't said you overthought it.
Yeah, I think people. If there's no issue with it, I think it was grossly underthought of versus overly thought of.
I think that it does matter that it's September 10th here in the States when the game is being played. I don't think people recognize September 11th until
so people are dumb
11th.
enough. You're saying that they're simple enough or dumb enough or
no, not what I said.
Or don't care enough to know that it's September 11th
not what I said.
where they're playing.
I think that it's the same reason you celebrate or you remember days on the dates that it happened. Okay. And the date that it happened is the following day, and there'll be no
Would it
game
not
on.
be Christmas to those guys that are playing on Christmas if it's December 25th when they're playing, even though it's Christmas Eve here?
Sure, but I'm talking about people here watching the game in the States.
You do know it turns to November 11th on the East Coast 3 hours before it turns to November 11th on the West Coast.
September 11th.
Yeah. September 11th. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, of course.
November 11th is in my head because anyway, it's different. I've been writing. I've been writing a book, and some of the most significant happenings in my life happened on 11/11.
11/11?
Isn't that crazy?
Really?
I delivered the speech at Old Main when all that stuff happened at Penn State on 11/11. My favorite cousin growing up, was murdered on 11/11.
Jeez.
My motorcycle accident was on 11/11.
Really?
It's crazy, man. Crazy. Like three very significant happenings in my life took place on 11/11.
Let me see what day of the week 11/11 is on this year. I want to make sure.
Make sure we in some place safe. So
Right.
make sure we got something good going on 11/11.
Smack dab on a Wednesday.
All right.
But it is Veterans Day.
It is Veterans Day,
So-
which is another significant day for me as well. It is Veterans Day. And buried my father-in-law on 11/11.
Jesus.
So that was the other one. Yeah. A whole bunch of stuff. Anyways, but that's I guess that's why I said November 11th.
Yep.
September 11th.
I think you'll
Need not ever lose the sting and the relevance and the importance of what it represents to us as Americans.
No, I don't think it does.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would hope not.
Yeah.
But it is worth the conversation 100% to be playing, and it's September 11th there or here. It's September 11th, and they're playing somewhere else. That's just strange to me.
It is the Dan Patrick Show here on Fox Sports Radio. LaVar, Arrington, Jonas, Knox, in for Dan and the guys. Coming up in about, we'll call it 15 minutes from now, 12, 15 minutes from now, that is. We are going to close up shop with a little something we do on the show here called The Leftovers. I did want to point this out, that this is, and there's, I guess teams handled it differently. So the big noteworthy injuries that took place last year in the NBA playoffs, with the play-in tournament starting up, play-in games coming up later on tonight, was obviously the Tatum Achilles injury, Tyrese Hallebertton in Game 7 of the Finals, Damian Lillard. Damian Lillard won a three-point shootout. That ought to tell you everything you need to know about the All-Star weekend for the NBA. Jason Tatum is back, and yeah, he's not the scorer he was before, which is understandable because he's coming off the injury from the postseason last year. Overall has been way better than anybody expected. And the fact that he's even back is impressive. And the Celtics are legitimate title contenders, and his rebounding ability and all that. Like he looks really good. Tyrese Hallebertton, we've not seen from. But when people have seen him, they've noticed that he has gained weight. And they've wondered sort of what's going on there, because he doesn't appear like he's anywhere close to being back. And Indiana was awful this year. So Tyrese Hallebertton actually spoke with the media yesterday and talked about how not so much the Achilles, but being diagnosed with shingles has impacted his current state of affairs.
Yeah, I've lost like part of my eyebrow. My eye is always like swollen from itching it. I have good days and bad days, but for the most part, it's bad days. So it has not been any fun. I'm still honestly dealing with it. I've been taking, unbelievable amounts of medication to try to get rid of it. It hasn't worked. It's obviously caused me to like gain weight and look a little bigger, and so that's been a topic of conversation through social media and stuff. But what can you do? But yeah, no, it's not been fun, and hopefully it goes away here pretty soon. It's hard to really tell, like nerve pain. Like I've been having nerve pain now for 2 months, and in the world of nerve pain, for people who've had that before, it's not very long. So I hope it goes away soon, but there's no way to really know.
So that was Tyrese Hallebertton chronicling his bout with shingles.
The chickenpox virus. Like, you ever notice how chickenpox just kind of disappeared?
Yeah.
Like nobody gets them anymore.
Did you have them when you were a kid?
I never got chickenpox.
I got them.
Everybody got them. Like, I'm not everybody, but I'm just saying a lot of people, that was the norm. You get it when you're a kid. They said the older you get, the more dangerous it is to get them. Like, it could take you up out of here if you get them as an older person. But nonetheless, that was always something that was a part of it. You got chickenpox, you had to stay home.
I mean, could you imagine like my vampire skin type chicken box? Like, you imagine that?
Well, you would probably have.
Oh God.
You would have chickenpox scars probably all over you, depending on at what point in time you got them. Like, you would be polka dotted up the rest of the way.
My complexion with chicken pox as a kid.
Yeah, you'd be banged up, bro.
Like Mars braille.
Oof.
Like Mars all over my body.
Just explosions taking place
disgusting.
all over the place.
Yeah, 5 years old.
It's ridiculous.
Just revolting.
I wish him the best. I hope he gets through it. I know that shingles is a virus that's activated by through stress I think it's something like suppression of. Hold on, I'm gonna tell you. Where is it?
It sucks.
Immune suppression is what it's called. And I don't even know what the hell that means, but I'm assuming that if you're taking some type of medicine to heal up, like say from an injured Achilles tendon, that it could suppress your ability to be able to fight off certain infections. That's, all the small print where they're like, if you take this drug, you have to be clear that you may lose your life. You may lose your your ability to eat.
Yeah,
you may lose your ability to sleep, and you may go crazy, and you may kill everybody else.
Side effects might include a third ear, a knee that explodes, and your head falls off.
Or your eyebrow falls off and your eye swells, right? And that could be what's going on here.
And also, I feel bad for him because I've had, friends who have, dealt with medical issues or family that's dealt with medical issue. And the only way to feel better is to take a particular type of medication and you gain weight from it. And so you find yourself in this spot to where
magic, dude.
I don't want to feel bad anymore. So I'll take something to relieve what I'm going through. And in turn, I end up feeling bad
about something else. Something else happens.
And he mentioned it. He's got to hear all this stuff about, on social media about what's going on, as if he doesn't know, yes, I've gained weight. I don't have a choice. I'm trying to figure this thing out. So it's just kind of a strange, and it popped up in February to where, he got diagnosed for it. And I think he said that his dad had dealt with this before. So this is just something that he's going through. So, people wondering, what exactly is happening with Tyrese Hallebertton? He's gained weight. Is he not taking his recovery seriously? It's like, no, he's taking it very seriously. His Achilles not the issue anymore. The dude's got shingles.
Without a sharp Hallebertton, the Indiana Pacers are through. If you don't have Tyrese coming in and being what he needs to be for this Pacers team, they can cash this one in. And this was a team that was on the verge of winning an NBA Finals not too long ago.
I was fascinated to see what that would have looked like had he stayed in that game because he was off to a hot start. And if he's in that game in Game 7, fascinated to see how that would have played out. Mm-hmm. But once he got injured, you just knew that they were totally outgunned.
And then you got to think about also what is the mental toll, the emotional toll on him dealing with these physical afflictions that he's dealing with, along with having to actually answer the questions based off of all the elements that you've talked about, from being harassed on social media to the reporters constantly trying to figure out what's going on. You got to believe that the toll that it's taking on him trying to get healthy at one point of it, and trying to balance out what getting healthy looks like with trying to finish out this season properly, the amount of pressure that he probably feels. And for what it's worth, when you have things, certain words, like in our culture, in our society, there are certain words that are like trigger words. Shingles is one of them. So you got to assume that he feels embarrassed. Like that's like, saying hepatitis or saying herpes, even though you get it differently. But there's certain words that are trigger words. All right, we're up on a break. You got to wrap this show, man.
I was wondering. I didn't know.
Got to be active.
Hey, I hear you,
got to be bumping and grinding.
I hear you.
Yeah.
By the way, be sure to check out our brand new YouTube channel for the show. Just search 2 Pros FSR on YouTube. Again, that's 2 Pros FSR. Be sure to hit the subscribe button. Don't stop there. Hit the thumbs up icon and comment away. Let us know who on the show you agree with, who you think is wrong. But check out our new channel on YouTube. Again, just search 2 Pros FSR and subscribe. Up next, we're going to close up shop with a little something we do on the show called The Leftovers, and it's yours here on FSR.
We are Blackboard.
Fox Sports Radio. In for the Dan Patrick Show. It's LaVar, Arrington, and Jonas Knox with you. And coming up here, we are going to tell you all you need to know about the potential return and impact of one Luka Doncic for the Los Angeles Lakers. And also, hey, what's going on with Hallebertton? We have answers, and we're going to tell them to you coming up here shortly on the show. We're also going to have a conversation with Prisco. He's going to tell you all that you need to know about NFL stories, hot takes, the draft coming up. We've got the very latest on one team's decision to move forward with their starting quarterback. For how long will it last? Deion Sanders getting a lot of criticism, a lot of heat up there in Boulder. We're going to tell you why some people should back off a little bit. And speaking of backing off, the NFL's decided to not back off of the Rams and the 49ers going all the way to Australia. Why is it happening? When is it happening? We've got the latest for you. It's all yours coming up next here. Two pros and a cup of Joe. Filling in for the Dan Patrick Show right here on Fox Sports Radio.
We got it for you.
Two pros and a cup of Joe is three guys talking sports, having some fun, and a great way to wake up in the morning.
Hey, listen, there's a lot of stats for us to get through right now.
We're here to break it all down for you.
I always hear that defense wins championships, but LaVar, I can't help but notice that the W-2s for the quarterback look a lot higher.
That's because we're worth it.
You gotta be kidding. It's just one of those shows that gives you that feeling of, I'm talking to my friend anywhere you may be, a sports bar, a living room. As different as we are, it works.
When he scores his first touchdown, what will the celebration be?
It might just be a spike.
Yes.
He's going to derobe first.
Jeez.
They set their wedding date on the day of the Super Bowl, and the groom's trying to move the wedding now to get out of it so he can go see the game. Is he in the wrong here?
Let that man use them tickets.
Unbelievable.
We're like those three best friends that grew up together.
We've developed a chemistry. In case you missed it, LA's finest, that's right, everybody's favorite. Apparently had a few too many drinks last night. This guy's got a little bit of an issue here, huh?
Call a taxi.
I hear he has a weird infatuation with elevator rides.
There we go.
We're three brothers and we look identical.
Oh, wow. Really?
I totally agree.
Yeah. Wrap it up. Let's go.
My guys.
Yes! Two pros.
And a cup of Joe.
More sports, more fun.
It's the Dan Patrick Show here on Fox Sports Radio. LaVar Arrington, Jonas Knox, in for Dan and the guys. So we're going to be back in our normal time slot coming up tomorrow, 6 a.m. Eastern Time, 3 o'clock Pacific, for a little something we do alongside Brady Quinn called Two Pros and a Cup of Joe. That'll be yours here tomorrow morning on a Wednesday edition of the show. If you've missed any of today's show, though, you'll want to catch the podcast. Just search Two Pros wherever you get your podcasts. Right after the show, today's pod will be posted. Be sure to follow it. Rate it 5 stars. You can even provide a review. Again, just search Two Pros wherever you get your podcast. You'll find today's full show in a best-of version posted right after we get off the air.
Time to find out what's left.
Sounds incredible.
Here's the leftovers.
All right, Patrick Suika, our executive producer. What the hell have we missed so far on the show?
All right, so I got a couple for you guys. So we're going to start with a cool weather one here, guys. So the Toronto Raptors on Sunday night had a game, but one thing here, courtside, they had 2 specifically altered courtside seats. Why? It was for the rapper Drake, and they were covered in ice. I mean, if you look at the picture here, it's icicles and totally frozen over. It is rumored to be a nod to Drake's upcoming new album, Iceman.
Well,
wait, Caleb Williams. Oh, but he's in Canada.
Yeah.
So does Iceman, does George Gervin or Caleb Williams get to take legal action against?
Oh, these are pretty sweet.
Are they? Let me see.
It is pretty cool looking.
Is that real ice or is it just? I'm assuming.
Oh no,
this
is all prosthetics. This is not real.
Yeah, and I think didn't Caleb Williams appear in Drake's music video or something like that?
Odell Beckham, not Drake. I mean, not Caleb. Did Caleb?
I thought Caleb Williams. He was in some music video where he's in the back of a moving truck.
Whoa.
And he was. Yeah, I don't know, man.
Whoa.
Hey, listen, man.
Moving on.
Yeah, whatever.
Yep. Next topic.
You want. I'm just whatever floats your boat. But I mean, look now. That was in honor of Drake.
Okay.
So the 2 ice seats, and anytime you can improve the experience for everybody in an NBA game, I think that's important. Because normally you go to a Lakers game and it's just, expensive as hell to get in.
It's a lot of celebrities already coming there, though.
Yeah, a lot of celebrities.
How many celebrities at a Raptors game?
Drake and
whoever that +1 is. And that's probably not a celebrity, but they probably got a celebrity something going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right. Man, I'm going to leave that.
Good move. What else we got, Patty?
So you mentioned L.A. Well, we're going to take this back to L.A. So UCLA, the ladies have won the national title for basketball. Congrats. Well, another congratulations. They have now set a record for 5 girls drafted in the first round of the WNBA.
That's dope.
That's how you do it.
So basically, their starting 5 all went in the first round.
That's how you do it.
That's why you win the national championship too.
That's right.
5 in the top of the draft.
All that talk about Gino versus Dawn and little UCLA just went in there and whooped that ass.
Dang, and that ain't neither one of them coaches. Shots out to the Bruins.